Chapter 182. Antidote Pill. Pill King was stunned for a while. Then he realized. Is it the antidote to Miss Ching Air's demonic poison? Yes, this pill is called the Triple Yang Universe Pill. It is a secret pill. I obtained it by luck. I will explain the principles and steps to concoct the pill to you later. What we need to do now is to adjust the pill cultivation room. Triple Yang Universe Pill. Pill King only heard the important words and filtered out the rest. His sunken eyes suddenly lit up as he stared at Su Yun. What kind of miraculous pill is that? How can it cure Miss Ching Air's isolated, enchanting demonic poison? Isolated, enchanting demonic poison. That is a deadly demonic poison. Can this pill really cure it? Hee. Not only can this pill cure the isolated, enchanting demonic poison, it can also cure many other unique poisons. It is a sacred pill. Although the pill is miraculous, the process of concocting it and the gathering of the ingredients are extremely complicated. This time, I was lucky and managed to gather all the ingredients. If I was unlucky, I would not have been able to gather all the ingredients so easily. Disregarding the Yin Yang Soul Stone powder, the Obsidian Moonstone was entirely due to luck. As for the Wu Huang flower, it was all due to Hu Qianmei's help. If not, he would have to give up his life. As for the meteorite tear, it was all due to the timing. If Su Yun found out about the poison, the meteorite tear would have already been sold at a high price by the Sky Blue Nation and disappeared. Then, he would be in big trouble. If that was the case, Su Yun could only rely on medicine to suppress the demonic poison in Ching Air's body while searching for the meteorite tear. If there was still no news, he might have to resort to more extreme methods. He might even have to return to the Su family. It's actually so miraculous? The Pill King's old eyes became even more passionate. The frail old man's face revealed a wretched smile. He extended his withered hand and caressed Su Yun's arm and laughed. Brat, this old man treats you well, right? Of course not. Senior, what's wrong? Nothing much. Just that. Are you willing to teach me the method to concoct the Triple Yang Universe Pill? The Medicine King was a little embarrassed and rubbed his dry hands together. Although it was an unreasonable request, but in Su Yun's eyes, it was very sincere. Su Yun's position was low, his cultivation level was not high, he was only proficient in medicine and arrays, but he did not have much fame. Other than limitless name, he was just a small character. But the Pill King was different. Not only was he well known, but in Blossom Heart Valley, his position was extremely high. If it was anyone else, they would definitely not put down their pride to ask Su Yun. But the Pill King did not care about his pride. His pursuit of medicine surpassed everything else. He did not know, so he asked. Senior Medicine King must be joking. This one has the intention of teaching. Refining this pill by myself is impossible. Since Senior has treated this junior well, this junior will definitely not treat this junior in vain. Su Yun said seriously. In fact, most of his medical skills came from Blossom Heart Valley, from the Pill King. Blossom Heart Valley was like his second home. How could he not be grateful? Especially in his previous life. All right, good. Ha ha ha. Rascal, this old man did not look at you wrongly. I did not treat you well in vain, ha ha. The Pill King was surprisingly not too excited or happy. He only laughed out loud and patted Su Yun's shoulder, looking very gratified. Senior, follow me first, Su Yun said. The Pill King nodded and followed Su Yun to the pill refining room. This pill refining room was called Seeping Leaf. It was the biggest pill refining room in Blossom Heart Valley. It was specially used by the clan elders and the sect elites. The disciples did not have the right to use it. Because of the Pill King's request, this pill refining room was temporarily used by Gue Mo Ju. All the ingredients in the pill refining room were prepared. The Seeping Leaf pill refining room was very spacious. It was as big as a few valley entrances. The pill refining room did not have a roof. It was surrounded by a large number of crystal stone walls. The walls and floor of the pill refining room were all covered by a large array. The array carved on the crystal stone walls was called the Release Origin Array. This array was not profound. It was only used to release the inherent power of the materials. These crystal stones used to cast the wall contained a large amount of profound spirit chi. When this array was activated, all the profound spirit chi inside the crystal stone would be released, providing an endless supply of profound spirit chi to the pill refiner and the pill furnace in the pill refining room. This was a very common pill refining method. Of course, this method had its advantages and disadvantages. The advantage was that it could ensure that the quality of the pill refined was excellent, nourished by the profound spirit chi, and the effect of the pill was excellent. The disadvantage was that the consumption of the crystal stone was extremely fast. Once the profound spirit chi inside the crystal stone was completely released, it would cost a lot of money to buy crystals to repair the crystal wall. Unless it was a big sect, they would not be able to bear this cost. On the floor of the pill refining room, there was a large array. The large array had a certain supporting effect, but it was not used on the person or the pill, but directly used on the pill furnace. This large array was unique to Blossom Heart Valley. It was the only one in the entire continent. It had a certain enhancement effect on the material of the pill furnace, and the power that was released was not profound spirit chi. Suyun was unable to decipher the theory and structure of the large array. He was extremely interested in it, but time was limited. He was unable to decipher the large array. Suyun, Pill King, Qing Er, Yuyang siblings, Gue, Mo Ju, Li Song, and the rest of the Blossom Heart Valley people all arrived. Open the door. Pill King rushed to the two disciples outside the pill refining room and shouted, "Yes, master." The two Blossom Heart Valley disciples did not dare delay and quickly opened the door. A group of people entered. Mo Ju, senior brother, what instructions do you have? This time, cooperate with Master Su Yun and me. Go and send some disciples with superior qualifications. Let them help, and at the same time, observe and learn. Pill King said indifferently. Hearing that, Gue Mo Ju's face lit up. This was a good opportunity for them to learn. Su Yun's understanding of medicine was not below that of the Pill King. Now that these two genius alchemists were working together to refine pills, the process would definitely be spectacular. If the disciples were lucky enough to observe from the side, they would definitely benefit from it. Senior brother, don't worry, Mo Ju will do it now. Gue Mo Ju immediately cupped his fists and ran down. Not long later, he led a group of Blossom Heart Valley disciples over. There were about 30 people, both male and female, all of them around the age of 20 to 30. All of their faces were filled with excitement and joy, looking at Su Yun and the Pill King with sincere respect. Su Yun glanced at the disciples, did not say anything, and turned to the Pill King. Senior, shall we begin? Yes. The Pill King nodded, extended his hand, and said, Please, please. Su Yun said, and immediately went to the right side of the pill refining room, where there was a jade table. On the table were some commonly used ingredients. Su Yun fiddled with them for a while, then hugged a pile of ingredients, and walked to the center of the pill refining room, where a gigantic pill furnace was. Snow Frog Cauldron. It was a cauldron made from the core of the 10,000-year-old snow frog. The cauldron did not consume fire, only ice. Hence, when refining the pills, they would naturally use an array that could produce the power of extreme ice, and use the ice flame to refine the pill. Using the ice flame to refine pills is usually only used for some special pills. Some pills have special ingredients that will melt or deteriorate upon contact with fire, thus losing the original effect of the ingredients. Thus, there is no way to refine the pills. Hence, our ancestors created the ice flame to refine pills, to allow the ingredients to be more widely used. This pill refining room has already been arranged very well by Master Ghost, but currently, we need to make some adjustments. For example, the Ice Flame Extreme in array under the Snow Frog Cauldron. Refining pills requires fire control the most. Similarly, refining the Ice Flame also requires fire control. Only with an appropriate amount of low temperature can the pills be refined. Senior, these meteoric tears and obsidian moonstones are not easy to come by. Once we fail, we cannot start again, so we must succeed. Remove a portion of the talismans on the array. Let its effect weaken and achieve the effect of raising the temperature. Modify the trajectory of the array talismans and images so that the release of the array's temperature will be focused on one point. The array talismans and images are actually like a person's hand techniques, finger techniques. Every movement, every drawing can release extraordinary power. You cannot belittle them. The last step is to fill in the patterns. This step is especially important. The array patterns are related to the array's support for the cauldron. To ensure the success of this round's pill refining, we must fill in the patterns to 90%. So you can explain step by step. 90%? Everyone from Blossom Heart Valley gasped. Ching Air and the rest were confused. They did not understand what he was saying. What's filling in the patterns? Senior brother, is filling in the patterns at 90% powerful? Xin, you could not help but ask the disciple beside her. Powerful. Of course it's powerful. It is impossible to fill in the patterns at 100%, and this 90% is already the highest realm of an array master. Don't you think it's powerful? That person exclaimed. Hearing that, the three of them were stunned. Pill King frowned. 90%? Rascal, this is something that only the continent's top array masters can do. This old man is very knowledgeable in medicine. Although my array skills are not weak, I do not dare to claim to be the top of the continent. 90%. For me to be able to do 70% is already not bad. Senior Pill King, don't be modest. Filling in the patterns can be said to be difficult, but can also be said to be easy. What you need is only one thing, attentiveness. We only need to fill in the pattern step by step, not letting go of a single detail and strive for perfection. It is extremely difficult for a person to fill in the patterns alone. After all, the amount is huge, and it is hard to support it with spiritual power. Filling in the patterns at the later stages is extremely easy to make mistakes. But it is different for two people. We can make up for each other's shortcomings. Filling in the patterns at 90% is not difficult at all. Hearing Su Yun's words, Pill King was not afraid. He nodded and said, since it's like this old man will give it a try. We don't have much time. Let's get started. Su Yun said, then turned to the disciples and said, the process of filling in the patterns may take a long time. The crystal walls of the pill refining room will probably be used up. Everyone, please prepare some crystal stones to repair the crystal walls. In addition, go and collect some meticulous grass. Let Senior Pill King and I eat it to stabilize our state of mind and increase our energy. Yes, everyone did not dare to hesitate and started to move. Let's begin, Su Yun said to Pill King, then walked towards the array under the snow frog cauldron. Once he entered the array, he took out the frigid cold powder that Gue Mo Ju had prepared and started to fill in the gaps between the patterns. The materials used to fill in the patterns had to contain spirit chi. Previously, Su Yun had used the most common golden bird phosphorus powder. A small bag of it was worth 10,000 spirit coins. But this frigid cold powder was of a higher grade than the golden bird phosphorus powder. The frigid cold powder contained cold attribute spirit chi, which was extremely expensive. The bag in Su Yun's hand was worth at least 300,000 spirit coins. Currently, Gue Mo Ju had prepared a total of 6 bags. Only a sect like Blossom Heart Valley could have such boldness. After all, they were not lacking in money. Ching Air. Su Yun earnestly filled in the patterns and shouted, yes, young master. Ching Air, who had been watching from the side, quickly ran over and answered, stand on the right side of the snow frog cauldron. Oh, okay. Ching Air did not dare to delay and quickly ran over. Chapter 183. Senior Pill King, when we are filling up the patterns, we have 3 breaths of time to rest. That is to say, after 3 breaths of time, we have to continue filling up or else the patterns will dry up and we will not be able to continue filling up. So we can take turns. After I finish filling up, I will not immediately fill up the next one, but I will look at your patterns and fill them up. When you make a mistake or the patterns change without you noticing, I can remind you. Once you're done filling up, immediately stop and look at me. No matter what, the power of 2 people is greater than 1. With 2 people with 70% of the patterns working together, it should not be difficult for us to reach 90% of the patterns. Suyin said as he filled the lines in the early stages. Pill King nodded. The Blossom Heart Valley disciples at the side all took out crystals that were specially used to record words and recorded all of Su Yun's words. Their expressions were focused and meticulous. Xinu and Xingyang looked at Su Yun with eyes full of worship. Big Brother is so powerful. He even knows this. Oh my God, how did he learn? He has such a deep understanding of medicine, and now he has such high attainments in arrays. 90% of the patterns. Isn't that the most powerful in the continent? Xinu's eyes flashed with light. She looked at Su Yun with a trace of passion. 90% of the inscriptions doesn't mean that you're the most powerful array master on the continent. You can only say that you're quite powerful. Although the inscriptions are an important part of setting up a formation, it's not everything. An array master's technique and cultivation are also very important. The most important thing is the materials used to set up the formation. The inscriptions only determine the strength of the formation, but the rest directly determines the grade of the formation. So, it is not enough to judge Master Su Yun's level of array. Guamo Ju said from the side. Xinu heard this and was slightly stunned, but she still pretended to understand and nodded her head. As for Qing Er, her gaze was fixed on the person who was sweating profusely. He was seriously filling the patterns. She felt like she was dreaming. How does young master know how to fill the patterns? Why did he know how to set up a formation? Wasn't he someone who found it extremely difficult to improve his cultivation? Why were there so many things? When did he learn it? Qing Er's thoughts were in a mess, but her heart was filled with joy. It's already past 70%. At this moment, someone at the side whispered softly, "Don't talk." Guamo Ju hastily shouted, signaling everyone to shut up. At this moment, the most important thing was to concentrate. Even though the two of them were not able to distract them with their cultivation, the noise alone was not enough to distract them. Suyin stared at the runes of the extreme ice array on the ground. He carefully placed the frigid cold powder in his hand into it. His profound spirit chi wrapped around the powder. Bit by bit, it entered and fused with the array seal, completely blocking the array runes. His forehead was full of beads of sweat, and every drop of sweat would be moved away by the people beside him using profound spirit chi, so that it would not fall into the array. Now that it had reached 80%, it was time to work together to fill in the lines according to the method he had mentioned. Crash! Su Yun filled in the array pattern in front of him, and after confirming that there were no mistakes, he immediately helped Pill King fill it in. There was no mistake. Change direction. There was no mistake. Change direction. The two of them were familiar with each other, and their coordination was exceptional. The onlookers were amazed. After an unknown period of time, the light in the sky dimmed and brightened, then brightened and dimmed again. The crystal stone wall was repaired by the disciples twice, and 80% of the array was finally completed. 90%. Su Yun stared at the remaining array runes, gasping for breath. He could not open his eyes, and his physical strength seemed to be lacking. Quick, meticulous grass. Guamo Ju said anxiously. Immediately, the two disciples who were standing at the side regained their senses. They took the grass that they had prepared and stuffed it into their mouths. The two of them hurriedly chewed. The meticulous grass entered their mouths, and after chewing, the medicinal effects began to take effect. Their spirits recovered a little, and Su Yun's complexion finally looked better. 90%, which was the final crucial point. At this moment, he felt dizzy and uncomfortable, as though he could faint at any time. If not for the meticulous grass, Su Yun would not have been able to hold on. In the end, he was just a person who had not stepped into the spirit core disciple realm. He could not compare to Pill King. Although they were both concocting pills, Pill King's cultivation was much more profound. Once Qing Er was cured of the demonic poison, he had to raise his cultivation. He had the everlasting stone, and also shared Uqianmei's talent. His cultivation would definitely be lightning fast, and he did not know what dangers he would face in the future. Only with strong power could he protect himself, Qing Er, and the rest. Su Yun secretly thought, bit his tongue, stimulated his nerves, and used the most primitive method to force himself to focus and continue drawing the array. Brat, persevere. Seeing that Su Yun's hands were trembling and his profound spirit chi was extremely thin. Pill King, who was at the side, broke out in cold sweat. The people at the side only saw that the speed of the two people who were filling in the array had slowed down, especially Su Yun. His hands seemed to be not listening to him. Young master, Qing Er's eyes were overflowing with tears. She wanted to cry, and her heart felt like it was being pierced by countless needles. She wanted to call out to the young master to stop, but she was afraid of disturbing him. She hesitated and was in pain. No one knew how Su Yun managed to hold on. After 16 hours, the 90% was almost done. Su Yun could no longer hold on, and his entire body fell on the array, motionless, as if he had fainted. The rest of the content was completed by Pill King. "Quick, help him to rest," Guamo-ju, who was at the side, said anxiously. "Yes, clan elder." Su Yun was carried away, and Pill King finished the last part of the work. Thus, Blossom Heart Valley's first 90% perfect array was born. When the Medicine King finished the last step, he was lying on the ground, gasping for breath. It seemed like he couldn't take it anymore. The array was completed, and the furnace room was adjusted. Next, it would be 10 days, or even longer, to concoct the pills. Su Yun let Qing Er stand in the array. The demonic poison in her body had no medicine to suppress it, and had already been released. That array was specially arranged by Guamo-ju, with the purpose of collecting some of the chi of the demonic poison in Qing Er's body. After all, it was the first time concocting the triple yang universe pill. Although it could cure hundreds of poisons, Su Yun did not know if it was effective. The only thing he could do now was to try his best to maximize the effects of the pill. He did not want to lose this only chance because of his own mistakes, so every step was extremely serious. After extracting the chi of the demonic poison, the next step was to mix the ingredients to target the chi. The main ingredients were meteoric tears, obsidian moonstones, etc. The supplementary ingredients could be used to target the demonic poison. The concoction of the Triple Yang Universe pill attracted the attention of everyone in Blossom Heart Valley. Other than the sect leader, who was in closed-door cultivation, the other clan elders all came to observe. However, when the pill was being concocted, the seeping leaf concoction room was sealed. They could only watch from afar and could not get close. When the furnace was activated, the pill was being concocted. Circles of multicolored light emitted out. Like an immortal cauldron, it was very mystical. On the 9th day, the multicolored light dimmed. Under everyone's anticipation, the ice flame of the pill furnace dissipated. The pill concoction was over. Qing Er, the Yu siblings, Guamo-ju, and the various clan elders of Blossom Heart Valley all went to the seeping leaf concoction room, quietly waiting for the opening of the furnace. Inside the concoction room, Su Yun and the Pill King stopped. The two of them looked at each other, then tacitly took action and opened the lid of the snow frog cauldron. The moment the lid was opened, a burst of mysterious chi soared into the sky. A light beam shot out from the cauldron into the sky, straight into the clouds. This is the spirit chi. Seeing that, the second clan elder Chenmu Yun, who was outside, exclaimed, "Only pills with abnormally dense chi of spirit chi would have spirit chi. Seems like this pill can already be called a spirit pill. A spirit pill is a miraculous medicine. Seems like this triple yang universe pill can really cure hundreds of poisons." A few clan elders discussed, then opened the door of the concoction room and walked in. Su Yun anxiously jumped on the lid and looked into the cauldron. Inside the cauldron, a black and white bead appeared. He was immediately overjoyed and quickly took it out. His hand touched the bead, and waves of cool feeling came from his palm. "Done! Done!" Su Yun exclaimed, his face revealing an ecstatic smile. All the hard work he had put in finally paid off. "Brat, your hard work was not in vain." The Pill King laughed. Su Yun anxiously turned and bowed to the Pill King and Guamo-ju. "Without the help of the two of you, Su Yun would definitely not be able to concoct this pill, and Qing Er's poison would be hard to cure. The two of you, the kindness of Blossom Heart Valley, Su Yun will never forget. I will definitely repay you in the future." "Ha ha ha ha. Since when did you become so courteous? Our Blossom Heart Valley practice medicine to help the world, to save people from suffering, and all these years, we have saved countless lives. This pill refining is to save people, even if it is not because of your miraculous medical knowledge. I will still help." The Pill King laughed out loud, his face showing that he did not care. "All right, Master Su Yun, the pill has been concocted. Hurry and let Miss Qing air consume it." The second clan elder, Chen Mu Yun, laughed. Su Yun nodded, but he hesitated for a while, then said, "The triple yang universe pill's grade is very high. I am afraid it is already a top-grade spirit medicine. If Qing air were to consume this pill, it would be hard to digest. I have a presumptuous request. I hope that the various clan elders will be kind and help Qing air digest the pill." "You mean using the array to digest it?" Yes, borrowing the power of the various clan elders to digest the pill. That's not a problem. We will help you to the end. We will help you to the end. Thank you," Su Yun said gratefully and bowed again. At this moment, on a barren hill about 100 miles away from Blossom Heart Valley, a lady dressed in a jade green robe was standing on top of a mountain, quietly looking at Blossom Heart Valley. Behind her, a large number of grotesquely shaped monsters were busying about. These monsters looked weird. Some had the head of a rabbit, some had the body of a cow, some were covered in skeletons, and some had 2 heads. Not a single one was normal. They used white bone carts to transport corpses from God knows where and spread them on the ground. Fresh blood dyed the entire hill red. Seems like the rumors are true. The guy called Limitless is really in this place called Blossom Heart Valley. The lady retracted her gaze and turned to look at the spirit monsters behind her. She said softly, "Quickly set up the door. We don't have much time left." This news suddenly spread among the humans. Someone must have purposely spread it. In the future, there will be people looking for Blossom Heart Valley. We have to take the sprite's shadow and quickly leave this place. We have to complete what we have to do. "Yes, Princess," the spirit monsters behind her shouted in unison. Their voices were humble and respectful. Chapter 184. The matter of Su Qing, or forming the pill, was personally arranged by the Pill King. The enchantment array that was required for the digestion was placed at the back of the mountain. Su Qing entered the array, while the other clan elders surrounded her, sending energy into the array, strengthening and stabilizing the enchantment array, using the enchantment to dissolve the triple yang universe pill. Su Yin wanted to help, but his cultivation was not high compared to the other elders, so he was powerless. However, just as the elders of Blossom Heart Valley were arranging the array, a shocking piece of news spread into the valley. "What? Is what you said true?" At the back of the mountain, the Pill King, who was supervising the preparation of the array, heard Gue Mo Ju's report, and his face turned serious. "It's absolutely true, senior brother. The news has spread outside. When the disciples went to Broken Break City to gather materials, they could hear the cultivators gossiping, saying that Limitless is Su Yun and is currently hiding in Blossom Heart Valley. Limitless has the heavenly crystal, monarch occult force, and many other strong treasures on him. If he could obtain it, he would be invincible. What's more, there are people who say..." When Gue Mo Ju said this, his eyes were uncertain, as if he was hesitating whether he should say it or not. "Is there anyone else who dares to speak? Tell me everything, don't try to hide it," Yao Wang said unhappily. "Yes, senior brother." Gue Mo Ju took a deep breath and continued. "Furthermore, there are people saying that Master Su Yun is from the demonic continent. During the battle at the Purple Star Academy, many people sensed the demonic qi on his body. Even if he is not from the demonic continent, he must be related to it. I'm afraid that there are already countless people scolding our Blossom Heart Valley, saying that we are harboring demons." "Shielding demons?" Pill King snorted in anger. "They're obviously using this as an excuse to make me hand over Su Yun, so that they can obtain the heavenly crystal and monarch occult force." Hearing that, Su Yun kept his mouth shut, as though he was thinking about something. "Brat." At this moment, the Medicine King stared at him. "What can I do for you, senior? Are you really Limitless or God?" "Yes." Su Yun did not hide anything. "Why did you kill Shenhong and the great clan elder of the Su clan? They deserve to die. The monarch occult force and the heavenly crystal are really on you." "Yes." "Are you really from the demon continent?" No. Oh. After a round of questioning, the Pill King nodded his head. His face did not reveal any changes. After thinking for a while, he waved his hand and said, I believe in Su Yun. Since he is not from the demonic continent, then he is from the sky martial continent. I don't care who he killed or what treasures he has. I have no right to ask about this. Mo, arrange it. If anyone comes to Blossom Heart Valley looking for Su Yun, tell them that Su Yun is a guest of Blossom Heart Valley. Blossom Heart Valley will not hand over their own guest. Understand? Understood, Gue Mo said. Hearing this, Su Yun was moved. His gratitude towards the Pill King could no longer be expressed in words. However, he was still able to distinguish the occasion. Senior, now that such a thing has happened, I think Qing Heir's pill refinement should be delayed. All the clan elders are helping out, and Blossom Heart Valley is relying on Master Ghost alone. I'm afraid something might happen. There's no need for that. I believe that people can tell right from wrong. The pill refinement cannot be delayed. If not, the Triple Yang Universe pill's effect will be halved. This must be carried out. You don't have to worry about other things. My junior brother will handle it. The Pill King said. Master Su Yun, please rest assured. Gue Mo will handle it. Seeing the two of them saying that, Su Yun did not try to persuade them anymore. He bowed and said, If there's anything I can help you with, please speak freely. The solemn and dignified heavenly music resonated in the blue sky. Two deity statues stood tall on the ground. In front of the statues, 10,000 figures were kneeling on the ground. They were kneeling in front of the statues. The scene was vast and sacred. Even if it was the Saint Emperor, he would not be able to do so. Among the 10,000 people, a red-haired old man holding a walking stick walked over. The old man was dressed in a blood-red robe. On the back of the robe was a majestic eagle. He lowered his head. He did not dare to look at the statue. Step by step, he walked forward with a devout expression. Greetings, Lord. The old man walked forward. He threw away his walking stick and knelt down. Have you found him? Inside Blossom Heart Valley. Then flatten Blossom Heart Valley. The man in the middle of the statue said indifferently. If others heard this, how would they be shocked? In the entire southern continent, no one would dare to say such words. The old man thought for a moment. Then he knocked his head on the ground. He said piously and humbly, Lord, I'm afraid this is not appropriate. If we do this, it will disrupt your plans. It will not be good for my sect. Then what do you mean? Let the Immortal Sword sect and the Su family go. They have already arranged everything. With the Heavenly Crystal and Monarch Occult Force as bait, I believe there will be countless people pouncing on Blossom Heart Valley. As his voice fell, there was a short period of silence in front of the statue. The man with his hands behind his back was silent for a long time. Then he opened his mouth. This time, don't disappoint me. I will not disappoint you, the old man said. The man nodded his head. He continued, I have received news that the other side has sent people over. They seem to be collecting something. Maybe you can send someone to keep an eye on them. The old man revealed a smile. They still have time to come to Sky Martial Continent? Could it be that they can handle the matters there? Maybe they can't handle it. That's why they came here, to find a solution. The old man did not say anything. Also, other than bringing her here, bring that variable as well. I am very curious. How did an existence that no one cared about suddenly soar into the sky and become the center of attention? Maybe he has something that we are interested in. Don't worry, Lord. Your subordinate will definitely settle this matter for you. The man nodded his head. Go down. Give me the news as soon as possible. We don't have much time. Yes, sir. The old man kowtowed again. He then stood up and retreated. He left the place where the deity's statue was. The Pill King led the various great clan elders of Blossom Heart Valley to the back of the mountain to help Qing Heir form the pill. No one knew how long this process would take. Su Yun and Gue Mo watched from the side, but Su Yun was still worried about the news. He was the limitless sword god. He had the Monarch Occult Force and the Heavenly Crystal. Why did it suddenly spread? Why would such a treasure be made known to the public? Shouldn't it be kept a secret? After all, the more people that knew about it, the more competition there would be. The chances of him obtaining the treasure would be even slimmer. He was afraid that someone had purposely spread the news. It was most likely the Sioux family people. After all, they could not shake Blossom Heart Valley. Staying in Blossom Heart Valley was not a long-term plan. Su Xiong was extremely shrewd and had countless connections with the Profound Sky sect. If the Sioux family could not shake Blossom Heart Valley, could the Profound Sky sect do the same? After Qing Er's poison is cured, I better leave this place quickly. I don't want to implicate the people of Blossom Heart Valley. Su Yin lowered his head and thought. Master, not good. Just then, a disciple of Blossom Heart Valley ran over anxiously. Su Yun and Gue Mo Ju turned and looked at him. What happened? Why are you so flustered? Gue Mo Ju frowned. That Smoky Wind Valley-colored rock sect and the people from 3 Items Deity Palace are here. They are gathered at the valley entrance. They are requesting for the sect leader to come out and meet them. The disciple said in a flustered voice. They want to meet the sect leader? Gue Mo Ju heard and was slightly angered. Why are the people from the 3 sects meeting the sect leader? I'm afraid they are here for Master Su Yun's treasure, right? Tell me, who are the people from the 3 sects? Do they have the qualifications to meet our sect leader? 3 Items Deity Palace's Vice Sect Leader Xiong Li, Colored Rock Sect Leader Qi Sanshur are here personally. Smoky Wind Valley's Great Clan Elder Xiao Feng is also at the valley entrance. Other than that, there are also the elites of the big sects, the clan elders. The disciple said, while trembling. These greedy people from the sects. Gue Mo Ju snorted. In the past, when my Blossom Heart Valley treated their injuries, they never came to my Blossom Heart Valley to pay their respects. Now that they have a treasure, they all came running over. Master, what do we do now? The disciple asked. What else can we do? Gue Mo Ju snorted. Go tell Li Song, don't let them enter the valley. I'll go meet them now. Yes. The disciple immediately ran down. Master Gue, I'll go with you. No need. You stay here and protect Miss Qing Er. This is a small matter. I can handle it. Gue Mo Ju said and immediately ran down. Hearing that, Su Yun hesitated. After thinking for a while, he did not make a move. After leaving the back of the mountain, Gue Mo Ju rushed towards the entrance of Blossom Heart Valley. Along the way, a large number of Blossom Heart Valley disciples and the valley elites moved out. Of course, the people from Poison Immortal Valley did not move. If there was no order from the Pill King or the Valley Lord, they would only make a move in a most urgent situation. At the same time, at the entrance of Blossom Heart Valley, a large number of densely packed figures stood in front of them. Many of the commoners who came to seek treatment saw so many powerful people from the sections. They were all frightened. One by one, they gathered together and trembled. The difference between a person with cultivation and a person without cultivation was like the difference between heaven and earth. For a spirit cultivator to kill a normal person without cultivation, it was no different from killing an ant. Although all the sects were righteous people and would not kill for no reason, but humans had an innate fear towards the strong and could not be changed. All the patients were invited into the valley by the Blossom Heart Valley disciples. At the entrance of the valley, a large number of elites blocked them. Opposite stood a few people with strong qi. There were 2 males and 1 female. They were the 3 Items Deity Palace's Vice Sect Leader Xiong Li, Colored Rock Sect Leader Qi Sanshur, and Smoky Wind Valley Xiaofeng. The 3 of them were middle-aged. They were dressed solemnly and wore their own sect's clothing. The 3 Items Deity Palace's Vice Sect Leader Xiong Li frowned. He stared at the entrance of the valley unhappily. Li Song, have you informed your sect leader? Quickly invite us into the valley to meet with your sect leader. Xiong Li shouted. Reporting to sect leader Xiong Li. Our valley lord has been in closed-door cultivation for many days. It is inconvenient for him to meet guests. Li Song has already informed Master Gue Mo Ju. I believe he will be here soon to meet all the sect leaders and clan elders. Gue Mo Ju. Xiong Li's face darkened. He said angrily, the sect leaders and clan elders of the 3 big sects are here personally. Your Blossom Heart Valley is not letting us in. But you actually sent a puny Gue Mo Ju to welcome us? Isn't your Blossom Heart Valley Too arrogant? Are you looking down on us? Chapter 185. Ordinary people say that Blossom Heart Valley's practitioners are merciful in their hearts. They are a group of people with a pure heart and few desires. Who would have thought that today your Blossom Heart Valley would put on airs? Could it be that they're all people who deceive the world to gain fame? The middle-aged woman from the Smoky Wind Valley, Xiao Feng, said in a mocking tone. Li Song was flustered. He stared at the obese lady, clenched his teeth, cupped his fists, and said, I beg Elder Xiao Feng to take back your filthy words. My Blossom Heart Valley is not like what you said. Filthy words? Heh, aren't you the ones who are filthy? Xiao Feng did not care about anything and directly said, Your Blossom Heart Valley is sheltering the demons and colluding with them. I do not know if you're plotting something. Compared to filth, who do you think is more powerful? Don't you dare insult my Blossom Heart Valley. Li Song was so angry that he almost roared. In that moment, all the people from Blossom Heart Valley roared out in unison. Don't you dare humiliate my Blossom Heart Valley. Although their cultivation was not high, their fighting skills were not strong, and their bodies were weak, their desire to protect the sect was stronger than all the people present. This was a warm, big family. They had already regarded this place as their own home, and these fellow disciples were their own family. Insulting the sect was the same as insulting their own family. How could they tolerate this? Almost everyone took a step forward, as if they would take action if Xiao Feng insulted them again. Seeing this situation, Xiao Feng's expression changed slightly, and she didn't say anything else. The people from Blossom Heart Valley have such a big temper. Colored Rock sect leader Chi Sancher snorted coldly. We didn't say anything wrong. You had limitless sword god. Could be fake? If not for your Blossom Heart Valley practicing medicine in the past, saving the dying and healing the injured, why would we be talking to you at the door? I'm afraid that he would have already charged in and killed all of you as demons. When Shi Sancher said this, the so-called righteous path people on this side also gained confidence and began a clamor. That's right, Limitless Sword God is cruel and heartless, killing righteous people. This is not tolerated by the heavens. We must hand Su Yun over. The cheers were endless. Since Colored Rock Sect is so confident, then my Blossom Heart Valley will open our doors. I'll let you in. Let's see if you have the power to treat my Blossom Heart Valley like a demon. At this moment, an aged voice sounded. Everyone looked up and saw the white-robed Gui Mo Jew, accompanied by a few disciples, walking out. It's Master Ghost. Master Ghost is finally here. Master, you've finally come. The Blossom Heart Valley disciples were overjoyed and shouted. Gui Mo Jew's face darkened as he walked out of the crowd. The disciples blocking the entrance of the valley automatically dispersed. When Gui Mo Jew appeared, Xiang Li and the rest exchanged glances, but no one made a sound. What? Gui Mo Jew swept his eyes across the crowd and snorted. Everyone, why aren't you talking? Do you think I'm not qualified to talk to you? If you feel that I'm not qualified enough, then please leave. Today, Blossom Heart Valley only has me, Gui Mo Jew, as the representative. His voice was firm, and there was no room for discussion. The few of them knew that it was impossible to meet the Valley Master, so they gave up. The elder of Smoky Wind Valley, Xiao Feng, spoke again. Since Master Gui Mo Jew has said so, we will not beat around the bush. Today, I hope that Master Gui Mo Jew can hand over a person, and that is Su Yun. I believe that Master Gui Mo has heard of this matter. Su Yun colluded with the spirit demons. Of course, regardless of whether he is from the demonic continent or colluded with the spirit demons, it doesn't matter. Eradicating the spirit demons and protecting the peace of the Sky Martial Continent is something that we as righteous people must do. Similarly, as a righteous sect, Blossom Heart Valley, I hope that everyone will not collude with the spirit demons and quickly hand over Su Yun. Colluded with the demons? Colluded with the demons? Gui Mo Jew stared at the group of people, his face cold, and snorted. What a bunch of nonsense. You said that Su Yun colluded with the demons. Then take out the evidence. If you don't have any evidence, don't slander me. We don't have any evidence, but Master Gui Mo can ask Su Yun to come out and confront him. Yes, we need Su Yun to personally stand in front of us. We need to analyze his profound spirit chi attribute. If he's truly not a demon, then his body will definitely not have the demonic chi that is unique to a demonic cultivator. If you want to prove that Su Yun is innocent, then let him come out. Xiangli said, please ask Master Gui Mo Ju to come out. If not, we will not let this matter rest. Chi Sanshur shouted. We will not let this matter rest. Ask Master Gui Mo to quickly hand Su Yun over. Ask Master Gui Mo to hand Su Yun over. If not, we will not let this matter rest. We will not let this matter rest. The people from the three sects all shouted out. Their attitudes were resolute, their tone unyielding. Gui Mo Ju frowned, his heart becoming colder. It was useless to reason with these people. They only had one goal, and that was for Blossom Heart Valley to hand Su Yun over. They only wanted Su Yun, whatever demons or demonic chi, they did not care. A group of sanctimonious people. If Master Su Yun really comes out, who knows what they will do? Gui Mo Ju muttered. Master, what should we do now? A disciple by the side asked. What else can we do? Gui Mo Ju said softly. The clan elders are currently refining the pill for Miss Qing Air. We can only drag it out and wait for the clan elders to come out. Understood, the disciple said, but his eyes were still filled with worry. Although the person in charge was Gui Mo Ju, Gui Mo Ju's cultivation was not high. How could he fight against the three clan elders? The people from Colored Rock Sect, Smoky Wind Valley, and Three Items Deity Palace were still shouting. Blossom Heart Valley was not moving, causing Xiang Li and the rest to become impatient. The three of them secretly looked at each other. Then Xiang Li spoke. Master Ghost, let's not beat around the bush. Are you going to hand him over or not? We do not have much time. Please give us an answer as soon as possible. Xiang Li shouted in a low voice. Su Yun was limitless, and the news of him being in Blossom Heart Valley had already spread. They were considered to be the early batch, and did not know how many tyrants were on the way to Blossom Heart Valley. They could only use the shortest time to find Su Yun. Only then could they hope to obtain the treasures on him. Once the super sects arrived, they would not have a share. The three sects had already discussed the everlasting stone, monarch occult force, and the heavenly crystal would be split equally. If not, the three sects would not have come together. Su Yun is my Blossom Heart Valley's esteemed guest. How can we hand him over? That means Master Gui is not willing to hand him over. Gui Mo Ju did not say anything. The two of you, we cannot delay any longer. Quickly take him. If not, the other sects will send people over that will not be good. Xiao Feng said softly to the others. Yes. Qi Sanshur nodded his head, then took a step forward and bellowed. Since Master Gui is not giving us an answer, then, for the safety of Sky Marshall Continent, for the safety of the citizens, for the peace of the righteous sects, we can only offend Blossom Heart Valley. Hearing that, Gui Mo Ju was shocked. What are you guys trying to do? Don't tell me you want to barge into the valley? Since it has come to this, we have no choice. We have offended you. Xiang Li said. Disciples, listen up. Xiao Feng had already shouted. Yes. The people of Smoky Wind Valley shouted in unison. In that moment, both sides were ready to fight. The atmosphere became more and more serious. The situation became more and more tense. A few people had already brandished out their weapons and activated their mystical techniques. A trace of killing intent flashed past Xiao Feng's eyes. He shouted loudly, "Listen to my command, get ready. Are you guys trying to behave atrociously in Blossom Heart Valley?" Just then, an extremely cold voice came out from inside the valley. Everyone was startled, and then turned to look at the source of the voice. The people blocking the entrance of the valley suddenly became restless, and then automatically split open. A man dressed in pitch-black Blademaster clothes walked out, with a cold expression and a pair of cold eyes. He had a sword sheath on his back, both hands holding onto a sword, one black and one green. Sword intent shot out in all directions. He walked over, steady, calm, without the slightest bit of panic. Su Yun, limitless. The hearts of the people outside all jumped. Qi Sanshur, Xiang Li, and Xiao Feng's gazes all landed on him at the first moment. Su Yun is out. Su Yun. Is he Su Yun? He doesn't look that old. Martial artists with high cultivation will change their appearance. Just because they look young does not mean they are young. Is he the one who killed the great clan elders of the Immortal Sword sect and the Su family at Wushuangju Peak? The one who stole the Monarch occult force? I heard that he killed the demon clan Blood Soul and saved the Purple Star Academy. That's fake. He is obviously colluding with the demon clan. But why can't I feel any demonic chi from him? And his profound spirit chi is so weird. I have never felt such a profound spirit chi attribute before. Is it the effect of the Monarch occult force? The people from the three sects were all discussing, and the sounds of people chattering could not stop. The tense atmosphere was alleviated. Master Su Yun, why did you come out? Seeing Su Yun walk out, Gue Mo Ju was startled for a while, then anxiously welcomed him, and said anxiously, "Quickly go back. I will settle the matters here." "No need." Su Yun looked at Gue Mo Ju, then strode forward and walked at the front of the group. He was speechless and stabbed the two swords in his hands into the ground and stared coldly at everyone. "I, Su Yun, am right here. And let me tell everyone here, I am not a spirit demon. I am Su Yun. Similarly, I am limitless, and up till now, I have already killed more than 3 spirit soul realm cultivators, and all the people on the wanted list and below have all been killed by me. Although my cultivation is not high, but that does not mean that I am weak and my methods are weak. Everyone, if you think that you have the ability to snatch the heavenly crystal, Monarch occult force, and the everlasting stone from my hands, then make your move, but before that, I will say this first." He raised his cold eyes and stared at Xiao Feng, Qi Sanshi, and Xiang Li. "Whoever dares to make a move will not rest until one of us dies. I, Su Yun, will definitely kill him." The dense and sinister killing Qi followed his words and spread out like a ripple. His words were like knives, stabbing into everyone's heart, causing everyone to shiver uncontrollably. Even the people of Blossom Heart Valley could not help but shiver. How vicious must a person be to say something like that? Xiao Feng and the other two's faces were pale white, their minds trembling. Chapter 186. The story of Limitless Sword Lord had long spread throughout the entire southern continent, and all the tyrants of the various sects had heard of it. After all, the existences that Limitless Sword Lord had killed were all people of the Spirit Soul Disciple realm, of the same realm as them. How could they not pay attention to it? Thinking about the tragic deaths of Shen Hong and the Su clan elder, Xiao Feng and Qi Sanshi hesitated. This person wasn't easy to deal with either. If he was forced into a corner, it was likely that he would go all out and forcefully kill the leader. Everyone seemed to have realized that this person called Su Yun was the Su family Su Yun and was also the limitless sword lord that caused the criminals on the wanted list to tremble in fear. Sect leaders, what do you think? Seeing Su Yun's attitude, it seems like he wants to fight to the death with us. If we forcefully make a move, the people from Blossom Heart Valley will definitely help him. At that time, when the fight starts, I'm afraid he will look for us first. Xiao Feng whispered to Qi Sanshi and Xiang Li. "What are you afraid of? We have so many experts here. Do we need to be afraid of a small limitless or god? He merely borrowed the heavenly crystal and monarch occult force to exchange for power. There's nothing special about it." Qi Sanshi said unhappily. Sect leader Qi's words are nice to hear, but you have to know, we have many experts here. Can we compare to the experts at Wushuangju Peak? That day, Limitless Sword God had barged into the meeting of heroes, and in front of all the experts of the southern continent, he had personally killed Shen Hong and the Su clan elder. If he could kill 2 spirit soul disciple cultivators under such circumstances, why can't he kill you and me here today? Xiao Feng asked. When Qi Sanshi heard this, his expression changed, and he couldn't say a word for a long time. "Elder Xiao, don't try to scare us. The situation is different, and the people we are facing are different." That day at the Unique Group, I heard that many experts were fighting for the Monarch occult force, and the situation was chaotic. No one helped the Immortal Sword sect and the Su family, and that was why Limitless was able to succeed. But today we have so many experts against Limitless. How can we let him be so arrogant? Everyone, don't think too much. let's talk about it after we get the heavenly crystal and monarch occult force. Xiang Li, who was at the side, bellowed. Hearing about the heavenly crystal and monarch occult force, Qi Sanshi and Xiao Feng, who initially had fear in their eyes, immediately became fearless. Tempted by the benefits, people were as bold as the sky. Moreover, the present was different from the past. Furthermore, the elders and experts of the three sects were here. In terms of the number of experts, they were not inferior to the peerless society. Why would they have any misgivings? Seeing that the eyes of the three people opposite him were burning with passion, Su Yun understood that a bitter battle was unavoidable. Forget it. If they want to fight, then let them fight. The only thing to do now was to stall for time for the Pill King and the rest. Once Qing Heir's injuries were healed, he would immediately leave Blossom Heart Valley. If not, there would only be more and more people looking for trouble, and Blossom Heart Valley would be implicated. Su Yun. At this moment, Xiang Li shouted. Although you're the limitless sword lord, although you have consecutively killed a few spirit soul disciple cultivators, but that does not mean anything. Now that there are rumors of you colluding with the spirit demons, in order to clarify the truth, to protect the Sky Martial Continent's righteous path and peace, you have to come with us. That way, you can clear your name, right? Go with you? Where are you going? Cooperate with our investigation and find out if you are really colluding with the demons. If you are not, we will naturally release you. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? We are doing this for your own good. If you really want to investigate, then let me cooperate with the people from Blossom Heart Valley. They are also righteous people. Why can't they investigate? It's not the same. They have a close relationship with you. How can they investigate you? Xiang Li immediately said. But in the next second, he heard a shout. 3 items deity palace. What do you mean? Do you think we are spirit demons too? Good, good. Your 3 items deity palace is truly powerful. I will report this to the Valley Mistress. I hope she will not break off relations with you because of this. Guo Mo Ju shouted angrily. Hearing that, Xiang Li's face changed. He looked at Su Yun and knew that he had fallen into Su Yun's trap. Guo Mo Ju, Xiang Li is not suspecting your valley. Don't misunderstand. You were the one who said those malicious words. How can I hear wrongly? This, obtaining treasures was one thing, but the relationship between the sects could not be destroyed. Xiang Li could not guarantee that there would not be a day where the sects would not beg Blossom Heart Valley. Guo Mo Ju, Su Yun, don't change the topic. Today, I will only say one more thing. Su Yun, are you coming with us or not? Qi Sanshi bellowed. I'm not. Su Yun did not speak anymore. He walked over and picked up the 2 swords on the ground and said indifferently. His attitude was unyielding. You're courting death. Qi Sanshi was furious and immediately jumped out, wanting to make a move. All the Colored Rock sect people were getting restless and wanted to rush forward. A huge battle was about to erupt. Stop! Just at this moment, an anxious shout rang out. Xiang Li and the rest looked up to see a few figures flying over, directly landing in between the 2 parties. All of their chi were extremely powerful. All of them were spirit soul disciple cultivators. And there were 3 of them, an old lady and 2 middle-aged men. The old lady was dressed in purple robes, holding onto a walking stick. She had wrinkled skin and white hair. When she appeared, many people recognized her. Madame Purple Star, Mystical Mountain Range's Madame Purple Star Academy's principal, an experienced spirit cultivator, a powerful existence that is about to step into the spirit star realm. Qi Sanshi, Xiao Feng, and the rest who were present all shivered. Although such an existence was also in the spirit soul disciple realm, the 3 of them were only at the 5th stage of cultivation. How could they fight against the 10th stage spirit soul disciple expert? And the other 2 were not ordinary people. On their waists hung a similar stone plate. On the plate was carved a big Mu word, the dense spirit soul stone's power leaking from their bodies. Mu family, Mystical Mountain Range's spirit soul stone aristocratic family. Another person exclaimed. Whoosh! Just then, a large number of experts from the Purple Star Academy and the Mu family rushed out from the main road. There were close to 1,000 of them. When they arrived, they crowded around Madame Purple Star and the 2 spirit soul disciple experts. A purple-horned beast carried a young man and rushed over. It was Mu Feng. Why are they here? Su Yin was startled. The people from the Purple Star Academy and the Mu family rushed in, blocking the way, facing the Colored Rock Sect, 3 Items Deity Palace, and Smoky Wind Valley. The situation immediately changed. Madame Purple Star was surrounded by the crowd and followed Mu Feng, who flipped over and sat forward. The two of them glared hatefully, staring at Xiao Feng, Qi San Shi, and the rest, their expressions sullen. You so-called righteous sects, what's the difference between you and the demons? Sanctimonious people, obviously after the Lord's treasures, but using the demons as an excuse to cause trouble. Humph, today I, Madame Purple Star, will leave my words here. Whoever goes against the Lord is going against my Purple Star Academy. Madame Purple Star fiercely struck her walking stick on the ground and bellowed angrily. I am Mu Feng, from the mystical mountain ranges Mu family, representing the Mu family to announce, whoever wants to make things difficult for Lord Limitless is going against my Mu family. The Mu family will not rest until he is dead. Mu Feng also spoke. The two of them stood firm. With their words, the situation changed in an instant. The 3 of them did not speak. Guamo Ju was overjoyed and anxiously bowed to the 2 of them. For the 2 of you to come in time to help, Guamo Ju is extremely grateful. Master Gue is too courteous. Lord Sword saved our lives before. We heard the news a few days ago, and were worried that Lord Sword would cause trouble. So we rushed over from the mystical mountain range to help Lord Sword. In the end, we came in time. It's not too late. Mu Feng laughed. Thank you. This time, it was Su Yun who spoke up. Madame Purple Star and Mu Feng both bowed to Su Yun, but did not say anything. Now that Purple Star Academy and the Mu family had appeared, along with Blossom Heart Valley, Colored Rock Sect, Smoky Wind Valley, and 3 Items Deity Palace would not be able to shake them. The 3 sects were not big sects. Suppressing Blossom Heart Valley 3-1 was not a problem, but now it was different. Purple Star Academy and the Mu family were the top powers in the mystical mountain range, and they could not afford to offend either of them. Xiao Feng and the rest's faces were extremely ugly. Looking at Su Yun, who was heavily protected, a few of them quickly exchanged glances. What do we do? 2 sect leaders. Now that Su Yun is protected, we can't snatch him away. Xiao Feng asked. I told you guys to force your way in, but you guys hesitated and talked nonsense with Su Yun. Now, you guys have no chance. Xiangli angrily snorted. Sigh. Qi San Shi did not know what to say. He sighed heavily and did not express his opinion. Don't tell me we're going back just like that. If we leave just like that, won't we be the laughing stock of the world in the future? Laughing stock? If you don't leave now, don't tell me you want to fight with them? Purple Star Academy's strength is not to be underestimated. Which one of you can contend against that old Granny Madame Purple Star? If we continue to be in a stalemate, there will be no results. Let's retreat. At least we can stabilize our relationship with Blossom Heart Valley. If we continue, I'm afraid we will not be able to get the treasure, and we will have to break off our relationship with Blossom Heart Valley. The few of them discussed. All of their faces were gloomy. Limitless, you colluded with the demons. You have harmed the Sky Martial Continent. Everyone has the right to punish you. Today is the day you die. Just at this time, a loud voice resonated. Following that, a few figures flew over. The 3 of them who were still hesitating looked up and were immediately stunned. Relentless Heart Pavilion's Vice Pavilion Master Wang Xianming. Relentless Heart Pavilion's people are here. Everyone exclaimed. Limitless Lord, although we have crossed paths before, but there are rumors that you colluded with the demons. Right here, I hope you can give us an answer. The shouts came out again. A group of people walked over, the vast number of them numbered in the hundreds, all of them dressed in fiery red robes, their entire bodies releasing scarlet star chi. Exuding fire sect people. Is it the great clan Elder Yonggu? I heard that his scarlet star chi is extremely dense and can melt steel. His strength is extremely terrifying. I never thought that the 2 sects would also come. The experts of the 3 big sects were all discussing. Xiao Feng and the rest's eyes lit up. The 2 sects are here too? Maybe we can join hands with them. Xiao Feng anxiously said to the two beside him. Hearing that, Qi Sanshi was startled. Then how do we split the treasures? Let's take the treasures first. We can discuss about splitting them in the future. All right. Everyone nodded their heads. But Blossom Heart Valley side was completely different. Guamo Ju, who had just heaved a sigh of relief, immediately tensed up again. He did not expect for 2 more sects to come, and he did not know if there would be more people from other sections. What we do now? Guamo Ju said worriedly. Rumble just then, the sky suddenly released a low and oppressive sound. Everyone raised their heads to look up. Chapter 187. The rumbling sounds continued to ring out like thunder. The people below all looked up at the sky. Looking at the thick clouds in the vast sky, there seemed to be something floating. Finally, the clouds gradually parted, and a small section of the ship's bow pierced through the white clouds, gradually revealing the mountains and rivers. It slowly appeared and flew over. Is that the 9-color dragon-shaped ship? A sharp-eyed person had already cried out in alarm. Congregate of Treasures Sect. This is the Congregate of Treasures Sect's 9-color dragon boat. The Congregate of Treasures Sect is here. It must be for the Monarch Occult Force. The God Treasure King is definitely here for the Monarch Occult Force. All kinds of shouts and shouts were heard incessantly. The cheers did not stop. Because of the sudden appearance of the Congregate of Treasures Sect, everyone had different thoughts. This is bad. The arrival of Exuding Fire Sect and Relentless Heart Pavilion is already a headache. I did not expect the God Treasure King's people to come as well. Guamo Ju's face was full of worry. Zixing and Mu Feng's faces were filled with solemnity. Of course, Xiao Feng and the rest did not have it easy either. The God Treasure King's sudden appearance. Everyone knew his motive. It was definitely for the Monarch Occult Force. Since Limitless had used his martial strength to forcefully snatch the Monarch Occult Force, then escaped, and did not obtain the approval of the God Treasure King. How could the God Treasure King be willing to let Su Yun take it away just like that? The 9-color dragon ship slowly drifted over. The gigantic dragon boat almost covered the sky. When it neared Blossom Heart Valley, half of the valley was shrouded in shadows, as though it was night. A strange and oppressive aura rippled out. The disciples inside and outside the valley were startled and panicked, not knowing the reason. The dragon boat stopped in midair and did not land. Everyone's breathing quickened. Dozens of figures suddenly flew down from the huge dragon ship, and one of them went straight to the front of the crowd. Crack! The figure landed on the ground with a thud. People looked up and saw a person in a wheelchair landing on the other side. God Treasure King. He stared at Su Yun with sparkling eyes. Without any expression, only the flash of anger in his eyes could provide the people around him with his current mood. Greetings, God Treasure King. The elders of the various clans and sects all cupped their fists. God Treasure King, how have you been? The sect master-level existences casually greeted them. You're welcome, everyone. The God Treasure King did not even look at anyone else. After he landed, his gaze was fixated on Su Yun, and his voice became gloomy. A few days ago, I received news that when Wu Ji was hiding in Blossom Heart Valley, so I drove the dragon boat and headed here. I never thought that the rumors were true. Limitless, do you still remember me? Greetings, God Treasure King. Su Yun said calmly. You still know that I am the God Treasure King? The God Treasure King snorted coldly. You ignored the laws that I set, stole my Congregate of Treasures Sect's treasures, trampled on my sect's rules, and humiliated me. I came here today to seek justice from you. Take back our Congregate of Treasures Sect's treasure, the Monarch Occult Force. When Madame Adam and the rest heard it, they did not know how to refute. After all, the matter of snatching the treasure was Su Yun's fault. The Monarch Occult Force belonged to the Congregate of Treasures Sect. Mu Feng secretly looked at Su Yun, only to see that at this time, Su Yun stepped forward and walked toward the front of the crowd. The Congregate of Treasures Sect disciples behind the God Treasure King uniformly surrounded him, and surrounded the God Treasure King tightly, as though they were afraid that Su Yun would make a move on him. Don't worry, all of you retreat. The God Treasure King raised his hand and said indifferently. The disciples hesitated for a while, but still retreated. Su Yun walked to the front glanced at everyone, and immediately cut to the chase and spoke. God Treasure King, you are wrong. This monarch occult force already belongs to me, Su Yun. Since when did it belong to your congregative treasure sect? Hearing that, the God Treasure King was completely enraged. Limitless, are you openly provoking me? Of course not. Su Yun shook his head and asked, May I be so bold to ask you, when we were at Wushuang Ju Peak, do you still remember the rules that you set? You said it, all the sects will compete, whoever can fight till the end and become the strongest, then who will obtain the monarch occult force. Am I right? That's right. The God Treasure King's face darkened. According to the competition rules, only the strong can obtain the rewards, but you are not. Why am I not? Su Yun raised his hand, pointed to the group of people in front of him, and asked. The number of sects that participated in the competition for the monarch occult force are countless. Me, limitless. With one person's strength, I obtained the monarch occult force in their competition. I've fought them. I've defeated them. My strength is not weaker than theirs. I did not use any underhanded methods. I fought them head-on. Don't tell me I do not have the qualifications to obtain the monarch occult force. Don't tell me this is not in line with your rules. Su Yun asked. With that said, the God Treasure King opened his mouth, but he was speechless. But very quickly, he recovered from Su Yun's words that were taken out of context. Rioting and competition are two different things. You cannot mix them together, and this king has never acknowledged you. I initially thought that the God Treasure King was a magnanimous person, but I never thought that he would be so petty and calculative. That kind of situation is actually a competition. Only the strongest person can obtain the monarch occult force. Regardless of whether it is an official competition or rioting, it is all the same. Don't you understand? The God Treasure King frowned. Although he knew that Su Yun was twisting words and forcing logic, his words were not without reason. Back then, in the chaos, everyone had used all their methods, but in the end, Su Yun had succeeded. It had to be said that his strength and luck were not bad. Everyone was fighting for it. How could the weak be able to snatch this treasure? Seeing that the God Treasure King was being restrained, Xiang Li could not stand it anymore. If this went on, they would not have a chance and immediately shouted, Su Yun, stop quibbling. You demonic being, killing people and stealing their treasures, committing all sorts of crimes. First you cruelly killed the great clan elder of the Immortal Sword sect, then you killed the great clan elder of the Su family. Such bloody and cruel methods. How can an ordinary person do it? That is not enough. You even stole other treasures time and time again. Now that you are facing our questioning, you are still trying to quibble. It can be seen that you are guilty. You must be a demonic being. My fellow cultivators, what are you waiting for? Why aren't you quickly following me to capture this demonic being? Xiang Li's voice was amplified with profound spirit qi. His voice was loud and clear, like a bell ringing in all directions. Hearing Xiang Li shout, Xiao Feng and Qi Sanshi immediately understood. Yes, Su Yun is extremely cunning, sinister, and crafty. He even killed his own people. How could such a person not be a demonic being? To deal with a demonic being, why are we still talking nonsense? Let's rush forward and capture him first. Everyone attack together. Even if he is limitless, we do not have to be afraid. Following Xiao Feng and Qi Sanshi shout, the people from the three great sects all started to shout, Kill the demonic being! Kill the demonic being! Everyone raised their hands and shouted. The people from Exuding Fire sect and Relentless Heart Pavilion were also affected. They raised their hands and shouted, already standing at Qi Sanshi and Xiang Li's side. Guamo Jews' people's faces were sullen. They were extremely angry. If you want to incriminate someone, you can always find a pretext. Furthermore, their goal was not Su Yun, but the treasures on Su Yun. The appearance of the God Treasure King had provoked Xiang Li and the rest. They could not wait. They could not wait anymore. Who knew what other big sects would appear? Would there be even stronger people appearing? If this dragged on, they would not even be able to drink this soup. So, just as everyone was riled up, a blue and white flame flew out from Colored Rock sect's side, directly smashing towards Su Yun. It was not a high-grade mystical technique, Most probably just a high-grade heart-grade mystical technique. But its appearance announced a message. Do it. So almost at the same time. Everyone received the message. Colored Rock Sect, Smoky Wind Valley, and 3 Items Deity Palace took the lead, directly attacking Suyun. Everyone brandished their weapons, activated their mystical techniques, without any nonsense, without hesitation. They fiercely rushed over. The mystical techniques that hid the sky and covered the earth converged into a vast, dazzling wave, fiercely rushing over. A great battle actually broke out under such circumstances. There was almost no process. Guamo Ju's face changed. What are you guys doing? Quickly stop. He screamed at the top of his lungs. But it was futile. Xiang Li and the rest were already completely crazy. They thirsted for the heavenly crystal, the monarch occult force, the everlasting stone. Now that they had the chance, they could not just watch the opportunity slip away. They could only give it their all and kill Suyun first. They would talk about it after obtaining the treasures. The law does not punish the masses. There were so many sects participating. Even if they were impudent, it would be easy for them to get away with it in the future. Damn it! Seeing that, Madame Purple Star and Mu Feng immediately brought their men forward to block the incoming people, but with just the 2 of them, it was obviously not enough. Stop! All of you stop! Guamo Ju shouted. The people of Blossom Heart Valley immediately became a mess. The scene was extremely explosive. Master Ghost! Suyun shouted from the other side. Guamo Ju turned to look, only to see Suyun's gloomy face, his gaze as sharp as a blade. At this time, the so-called rules already have no use. The only thing that can solve this problem now is power. Let's fight. With that said, Suyun immediately leaped and rushed in. Guamo Ju was stunned. He was stunned for a while. Finally, he took a deep breath and calmed his heart down. Is this the only way? He sighed. Clan Elder Yonggu, what should we do now? The disciples of Exuding Fire Sect saw the people from Relentless Heart Pavilion making their moves and immediately asked anxiously. Suyun has treasures on him. Let us make our move, kill Suyun, and take the treasures. In the future, with the help of these treasures, our Exuding Fire Sect will definitely become stronger. One of the clan elders said. Don't be anxious. Wait and see. Yonggu said indifferently. Everyone nodded and retreated, and the God Treasure King did the same. Although the Congregate of Treasures sect was influential, but it was no different from Blossom Heart Valley. The God Treasure King's cultivation was profound, but the disciples' cultivation was not high. The sect's fighting power was not high, and there were not many members. Such a fight, they would not participate. After all, it was just a treasure. They had many more. The intensity and passion of the scene far exceeded everyone's imagination. A few sex experts and elites were gathered together, killing crazily. Such a scene, not to mention the region, even in the entire southern continent, it was rarely seen. Suyun leaped into the crowd, his eyes red, his face sinister. Holding on to both swords, he rushed towards Qi Sanshi and the rest. The monarch occult force could not be handed over. The heavenly crystal could not be handed over. If not, Suyun would not be able to protect Qing'er and would not be able to fight against the Su family and Profound Sky Sect. These were his trump cards. The heavenly crystal had recovered. At most, he would give it his all. Previously, when he said that he would not rest until he was dead, it was not just a threat. Although he was not strong, that did not mean he did not have any tricks up his sleeves. He wanted to borrow the heads of these people, to intimidate those who still had ideas on him. You guys want the heavenly crystal? All right, then I will give it to you. Suyun roared. He leaped into the air and placed the heavenly crystal on his chest. In that moment, a large number of black patterns appeared on his chest. A strange light shone. Chapter 188. Activating the heavenly crystal, he strengthened his chi channels and opened his spirit essence. His profound spirit chi burst out like a tidal wave. At that moment, the feeling of infatuation struck him again. An existence that was not even at the spirit core disciple realm, under the instigation of this treasure, was forcefully raised to the spirit soul disciple realm or even higher. The surging aura from his body spread out in all directions like a ripple, and all the people that charged at him were repelled by this powerful force that suddenly appeared and fell to the ground. Not good. Su Yun activated the heavenly crystal. Everyone be careful. Chi Sancher shouted. Everyone's expression changed. Xiangli, don't you want the heavenly crystal? Didn't you want the monarch occult force? I'll give it to you. Su Yun growled. Stepping on a 1,000-deep sword, he rushed towards Xiang Li, who was at the back of the crowd. Grabbing the death sword with both hands, he spun and pulled it out. Clang! The death sword was unsheathed with an ominous glint. The sinister death chi filled the air. The brilliant sword will charge towards Xiang Li like a fierce beast. That sword slashed out. 100 swords rang in unison as they flew out of their sheaths. Layers upon layers of swords rotated, forming a huge sword mouth that enveloped Xiang Li. The blades of the swords were like the wind, sweeping towards Xiang Li's body. Every inch of his flesh was corroded by the sword will. Su Yun, you are just a small spirit intermediate disciple. You dare to challenge me. You are only borrowing the power of the heavenly crystal. However, do you really think you're invincible? I am the vice sect leader of 3 Items Deity Palace. How can I not have powerful treasures? Do you think you're the only one who has it? Today, I'll show you my prowess. Xiang Li was infuriated, facing Su Yun's fierce attack. He did not retreat at all. He growled, waved his hand, and a shadow appeared in his palm, flying into the sky, then descending from the sky, fiercely pressing down on Su Yun's body. Vajra slaughter palm. Dong! The huge palm fell, and the earth trembled. Xiang Li looked over, only to see Su Yun supporting the death sword with one hand, the sword tip pointing upwards, blocking the Vajra slaughtering palm. Oomph! A cold glint flashed across Xiang Li's eyes as he charged forward. However, the moment he moved, hundreds of flying swords suddenly appeared around him and began to slash wildly. Countless sword shadows were like layers upon layers of ocean spray. One after another surged forward. Xiang Li waved both his arms, and true divine spirit chi covered both of his hands. His hands were as hard as steel, and he waved them quickly to block the incoming swords. It was difficult for him to move forward, and he kept on retreating. Each of these 100 swords was fierce and mournful, and each move was frightening. It was as if they were being brandished by the hands of a madman, and they would not stop until one of them died. Xiang Li fought and retreated, blocking and looking, hoping to find a chance to get close to Su Yun, who was struggling to break free from the slaughter palm. These 100 swords were no small matter. Not only were the profound spirit chi wrapped around the swords abnormally sharp, it also contained 5 main attributes of profound spirit chi. True Kong, crimson sun, frigid water, swift wind, spiritual life. The 5 types of spirit chi, under the influence of Su Yun's unique profound spirit chi, displayed an astonishing power. Xiang Li only felt that his arms, which are many times harder than steel, were in extreme pain. Both of his arms had a large number of shallow red sword marks. It seemed that not long after, both of his arms would be chopped off. No, I can't go on like this. Xiang Li clenched his teeth and growled. It was unknown what treasure he used, but his entire body was suddenly plated with a layer of gold light. Then he released both of his hands and actually gave up on defending. He directly rushed towards Su Yun. Ding ding dang dang, ding ding dang dang. The 100 swords crazily struck his body, bringing forth a large number of sparks. Mixed with the 6 types of profound spirit chi, it was actually unable to break through his defense. No one knew what treasure this golden body was, but it was actually impenetrable. It was like an indestructible golden body. Hey! Su Yun took a deep breath and groaned. He pushed the slaughter palm away, but just as he was about to escape, Xiang Li had already arrived. Su Yun, today, I will let you know that there are some people that you cannot afford to offend. Even if you have the heavenly crystal, you are still a spirit intermediate disciple ant. I will kill you, like slaughtering a pig or a dog. Xiang Li's eyes were completely red. With a shout, both of his arms dropped down and smashed towards Su Yun's head. No one could measure how much shocking power the pair of hands brought with them when they fell. But Su Yun could judge that this attack could probably even smash a mountain. He could not take it head-on. Su Yun secretly clenched his teeth and anxiously dodged. Because he was in a hurry, he was in a sorry state, but he still managed to dodge. Xiangli's two hands fiercely smashed the ground, causing a large number of cracks to appear. The entire Blossom Heart Valley shook violently. The people who were fighting were all affected, and the people who were closer were even more shaken. It was difficult to defend against the attacks. Ripples after ripples of energy came from the ground. Unless one's cultivation was close to or higher than Xiangli, no one could avoid it. Where are you running to? Seeing that Su Yun had dodged, Xiangli snorted again. Raising both his fists again, he rushed forward. Although his strength was great, his speed was astonishing. Such a terrifying attack was executed in less than a breath's time. He quickly retracted his attack, stabilized his attack, and attacked again. Su Yun was unable to dodge. In a moment of desperation, he raised his sword to block. Clang! An intense sound reverberated. Su Yun's entire body was sent flying. When he was in the air, a few experts from the 3 Items Deity Palace who were staring at him immediately rushed over. While Su Yun was not stable, a few blades flew over. So 100 swords flew over, surrounding Su Yun frantically. The dense sword edges were like a guardian god, separating him from the experts from the 3 Items Deity Palace. Everyone's mystical techniques that were flying towards Su Yun were all blocked by the revolving swords. Su Yun was not affected at all. Under the protection of the 100 swords, Su Yun safely landed on the ground. But Xiangli, who had the upper hand, did not give Su Yun any chance to catch his breath. He rushed forward again and roared, "Li Kai, Qing Zhang, kill this man with me. Attack his right side. Do not show mercy. We will not stop until he dies." "Yes, sect leader," everyone roared. They attacked together, attacking from the front and back, attacking from both sides. Su Yun released the 100 swords. Staring at the 2 incoming people, his face did not reveal any trace of panic. He extended his hand and formed a hand seal. The 100 swords around him suddenly stood up. With him as the center, they transformed into a gigantic sword wall. The sword tips pierced the ground, stacking up and wrapping around him. His front, back, left, and right were actually defending. It was not a sword technique, but a simple parry. But the sword was not invincible. Dong! Xiangli rushed forward and punched the sword wall. The 100 swords trembled but did not shatter. And Su Yun, who was inside, was not injured at all. Xiangli stared at Su Yun, who was a few meters away. His face revealed a disdainful smile. "You want to live just by relying on this? Don't even think about it. Take my attack." Xiangli roared. No one knew what mystical technique he had used. His fist released a circle of red light. Then he stacked his hands together and straightened them up. Then he punched towards the sword wall. His tightly clenched fists were like shooting stars in the night sky, whizzing towards Su Yun. That dense true divine spirit chi could no longer be described with words. Just that. Such a powerful attack, Su Yun actually ignored it. Instead, he raised his hand and touched the pitch-black ring on his finger. He closed his eyes and muttered something. Boom! Like a clap of thunder striking a mountain or a wave striking a reef, a deafening sound shook the heavens. The fist had already reached the sword wall. The blazing heat from the fist landed on the sword blade. The indescribably powerful true divine spirit chi was like a powerful palm, tearing apart the swords. Kacha! 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 A large number of swords cracked, broken, fell, and finally turned into rays of light. They entered the sword sheath and went into a long hibernation, waiting for their recovery. On the other hand, the magnificent sword wall that was formed from 100 swords had already shattered into pieces, and it was impossible to protect it any longer. Xiangli looked at this scene. The arrogance and pride in his eyes grew stronger. Su Yun, it's over. He laughed lightly. Then, with a sinister expression, he waved his fist and attacked again. Crash! The entire sword wall was destroyed. The fist passed through the sword wall and went straight through. Clang! The fist passed through Su Yun's body. Then, a strange phenomenon occurred. Su Yun's body was like a broken copper mirror. In an instant, it broke into tiny pieces and scattered on the ground. Is this the mystical technique, mirrored flower water moon? Xiangli was stunned. But wasn't this mystical technique exclusive to the mirrored flower palace? This mystical technique was not passed on to outsiders. Why did Su Yun know it? Chi. Just at this time, a weird sound came out. Xiang Li's expression tightened as he looked at the broken fragments, only to see that they had all suddenly turned into liquid. Then, with him as the center, the liquid quickly spread out, rose, extended, and finally turned into a towering transparent square wall with a ceiling. Goo 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 goo, it was rising at a speed that was hard for people to react. Xiang Li was completely trapped. It was hard for him to escape. If someone were to look down from above, a huge prisoner word would be imprinted in their eyes. This is not mirrored flower water moon. Xiang Li suddenly reacted. He anxiously waved both his fists and fiercely punched the wall. Dong, dong, dong. One after another, loud sounds exploded. But no matter how much strength he used, he was unable to break the wall. Quickly save the sect leader. The experts from the 3 items deity palace all took out their treasures and attacked the wall. But the wall was as sturdy as a fortress. They were unable to move it at all. Who? Just then, the transparent square wall suddenly opened up. Streams of air blew towards them. Seeing that, Xiang Li was elated. He thought that his attack was effective. He anxiously flew up and attempted to escape from above. But the moment he flew up, countless of huge light arrows suddenly fell from the sky. The light arrows were concentrated. Like a waterfall, they fell down and pierced into the chi wall. Puchi! Before Xiang Li could escape from the chi wall, the light arrows pierced through his body. He fell down and stared fiercely at the ground. This is the Holy Arrow Sect consummate skill Meteor Arrow. Madame Purple Star, who was still fighting with Xiao Feng, saw such a majestic scene. She could not contain her excitement and shouted out. What? Holy Arrow Sect? That ancient arrow sect that had disappeared for 1,000 years? Why would their consummate skill be on this person? Countless people's hearts were beating wildly. Countless people were dumbstruck. Inside the wall of Qi, Xiang Li's body had already been pierced through by 2 huge arrows of light. His torso was already completely rotten, and the ground was riddled with holes. There was not a single place that was unharmed. As for Xiang Li himself, he was already dead. Hua. The last meteor arrow fell from the sky and struck Xiang Li's body. The moment it landed, the halo immediately exploded. The ripple spread out in all directions and blew the chi wall away. Everyone retreated. When the halo disappeared, they looked again. They were shocked to realize that the last arrow that landed was actually Su Yun, who was smashed into pieces. So this was the power of the consummate skill. Chapter 189. Xiang Li died a horrible death. Almost not even his bones were left. On the ground that was full of holes, only a pile of rotten flesh could be seen. No one could recognize that the pile of rotten flesh was the famous 3 items deity palace vice sect leader Xiang Li. The 3 items deity palace disciples were stunned. Everyone stared at the other side in astonishment, unable to regain their senses for a long time. Their eyes were as wide as a bull's, and many people's mouths were agape, as if they had been petrified. There were even people who were absent-minded and neglected the opponent's attack, suffering heavy injuries or even dying. A short period of silence appeared in the intense scene. It was like a raging fire had been doused with a bucket of cold water. Although it hadn't been extinguished, the fire was no longer vigorous. After a long while, everyone finally regained their senses, but at this moment, those who wanted to capture Su Yun were already trembling in fear, cold sweat flowing down their backs. A spirit soul disciple had fallen just like that. The existence of the spirit soul disciple, not the spirit intermediate disciple or spirit core disciple. Heavens! How is this possible? Su Yun only relied on the heavenly crystal to kill sect leader Xiang Li? This is impossible. The power of the heavenly crystal was so great. Impossible. People murmured. The people of 3 items deity palace trembled, their hearts filled with grief and fear. If the sect leader died just like that, how would Su Yun treat the 3 items deity palace in the future? I told you, Limitless Sword God was not that simple. You won't listen. He killed Xiang Li so easily. Could it be that we can contend against him? His methods. He must have reached the Spirit Star Realm. He is definitely at the Spirit Star Realm. Qi Sin sure screamed at the top of his lungs. The current him, his fighting spirit had long been destroyed by Su Yun's move. This was intimidation. The power of intimidation. Why are you panicking? Xiao Feng temporarily retreated with the help of his transcendent artifact. Suppressing the fear in his heart, he clenched his teeth and glared at Madame Purple Star in front of him. He roared, "Now that things have come to this, we have no way out. Everyone listen up. Use all your strength to kill Su Yun. For the righteous path." Understood. The elites of Smoky Wind Valley roar in unison, and all rush toward Su Yun. "You want to touch Lord Sword Venerable? Ask me first," Madame Purple Star shouted. She waved her hand and summoned her magic weapon. The purple stars in the sky swayed and attacked Xiao Feng. Xiao Feng anxiously used her treasure to defend, but although she was an expert of the Spirit Soul Disciple realm, it was extremely strenuous for her to fight against Madame Purple Star, and it was difficult for her to defend against it. With a rumble, the compass that she summoned was completely destroyed, and a large number of purple stars smashed onto Xiao Feng's body. Xiao Feng's swollen body trembled, and she fell backwards, spitting out blood. It was obvious that she was heavily injured. This was just the beginning, and one was dead, and one was injured. With the help of the remaining Relentless Heart Pavilion, how could they take down Su Yun? After all, the Congregate of Treasures sect and Exuding Fire sect were watching the show from the side, and did not seem to have any intention of joining the battle. "Elder Yanggu, God Treasure King, what are you still doing? Why aren't you coming to help us? Are you going to watch as this fiendish demon runs wild and arrogant?" There were already people who felt like they couldn't take it anymore and shouted, "If the two of you do not make a move, my Blossom Heart Valley will still regard the two of you as friends of my valley. If the two of you make a move, my Blossom Heart Valley will definitely sever all ties with you. I hope that the two of you will consider this carefully. There are many suspicious points regarding Su Yun. We still need to investigate. Please reconsider." Guamo Ju also shouted at this time. Yanggu was ready to make a move, but after hearing Guamo Ju's words, he calmed down. Su Yun saw it and knew what Yanggu was planning. If Smoky Wind Valley, 3 Items Deity Palace, and the other sects could fight against him, he would have long taken the treasures. But now that the few sects could not hold on, he was considering if he could succeed. It had to be said that Yanggu's considerations and foresight were much higher than the few sections. Since he was at the scene, why would he worry about being late? Su Yun's eyes were filled with rage. He wanted to kill Qi Sanshur again, to intimidate the God Treasure King and Yanggu, so that they would retreat. But just at this time, a large number of mystical techniques suddenly shot down from the sky. They were like arrows and bombs, fiercely smashing down, baptizing everything in the area. Su Yun's face changed. He controlled the remaining flying swords to form a sword formation in the air to defend against the incoming mystical techniques. But the range of the sword formation was not big. It was unable to defend against too many attacks. There were still countless mystical techniques falling to the ground. Bang, 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 bang. The colorful mystical techniques exploded on the ground, the dense destructive power rippling out, tearing the people around. "What's going on? Not good. Quickly defend." Hesitant shouts could be heard, and everyone stopped fighting, activating their mystical skills and treasures to defend themselves. Even the Congregate of Treasures sect and Exuding Volcano were not spared. After being bombarded, the entire Blossom Heart Valley became a purgatory. Many people were heavily injured. The ground was filled with craters. It was terrifying. It was a complete mess. Seeing that there were many casualties on his side, Relentless Heart Pavilion's Vice Pavilion Master Wang, Xianming, was enraged. He shouted with all his might, "Who's sneak attacking? Quickly come out." "Pavilion Master Wang, don't be angry. This is just a show of strength to Blossom Heart Valley and Su Yun. Su Yongnian is here." With that said, a large number of iron horn bulls and purple horn beasts rushed over. The ground rumbled as the mounts trampled on it. It trembled nonstop. Bursts of crazy and astonishing qi blew over. Everyone looked up and saw that all the Su family people who were rushing over had a light red strange qi on their bodies. This qi was strange and strange. No one knew what it was, but the Su family people who were enveloped by it became more ferocious and powerful. What technique is this? Is this the power of the array? Seeing that, Suyin secretly thought, maybe this group of Su family people had always been hiding near Blossom Heart Valley. When the battle reached its climax, they used the array to increase their power and rushed over. At the same time, the sound of something breaking through the air came out. In the distant sky, a large number of people wearing Blade Master clothes on their flying swords were rushing over. They gathered together like a dragon soaring in the sky, flying over. Immortal Sword Sect 4th Clan Elder Feng Jian. Come here to kill Su Yun. In the sky, a loud shout came out, only to see the Azure Dragon formed by the Immortal Sword Sect disciples, suddenly rushing out like a ray of light, directly rushing towards them. Su Yun's face tightened. He held onto the death sword and slashed. Shio, 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 shio. All the flying swords circling in the sky rushed over. Carefree Sword Heart. 4th Clan Elder Feng Jian growled. A large number of sword images appeared around him and rushed towards Su Yun. Although Su Yun's swords were real, they were few in number. After being bombarded by Xiang Li, more than 40 swords had fallen. They all needed to rest in the sword sheath for a period of time to recover before they could fight again. And it was unknown if these 50 swords could contend against Feng Jian's 100 oversword images. But Su Yun's technique did not end there. He leaped into the air and dodged the opponent's killing technique. He turned around and faced Feng Jian. Then, his fingers moved. At the same time, his eyes tightened and a gray light shot out. Heaven-splitting sword technique. Giant rock spirit nucleus. A mystical technique and a treasure were activated at the same time. The heaven-splitting sword technique was activated. The 60 swords immediately released sword images and rushed over. At the same time, the giant rock spirit nucleus was activated. With the support of the heavenly crystal, the power of the treasure was greatly increased. Feng Jian's skin was covered with a layer of stone. His movements were sluggish and his speed was much slower. Su Yun was actually trying to catch Feng Jian off guard. Then, Feng Jian was after all the 4th Clan Elder of the Immortal Sword Sect. His wind sword technique could be said to have reached perfection. Just as Su Yun was about to rush over, his body suddenly revealed a series of afterimages. Then, his body disappeared. So fast, Su Yun was secretly surprised. When he regained his senses, the sword intent behind him was soaring with killing intent. He actually leaped to the back? How'd he do that? Su Yun clenched his teeth. He turned around and slashed. But, just as the sword tip turned around, the figure behind him disappeared again. Kung Chong. A burst of cold sword cry came out from above. Feng Jian was like a falling meteor. He descended from the sky and went straight for Su Yun's head. No wonder he was called Feng Jian. He was as fast as the wind. In the world of martial arts, only speed was unbreakable. In the profound spirit realm, speed held the absolute advantage. A fast sword could kill without leaving a trace. Just that, Feng Jian's speed was not fast enough. He could be faster. Looking at Feng Jian, who was descending like a ray of light, Su Yun did not dodge. He stood there quietly. Huh. Feng Jian, who was descending, was startled. Since he had already attacked, he could not retract his sword. He grimaced and stabbed forward. The slender cold sword was like autumn water. It pierced through one's skin and bones. It caused one's soul to tremble. But at this moment, Su Yun suddenly extended his hand and waved in the air. While large amounts of translucent white lines of qi spewed out from his body, revolving around his body, forming layers upon layers of intertwining loops. Just as the sword in Feng Jian's hand entered the qi loop, the death sword and thousand deep sword were like machines that were electrified. In a flash, they flew over, revolving at high speed, following the qi loop and exploding crazily. The naked eye could not keep up with the speed of the two swords. In a split second, Su Yun's entire body became an isolated zone. Feng Jian's sword was immediately deflected. His entire body was affected by the force, and he fell towards the other side. Storm sword technique. What? Feng Jian's eyes widened. His back was drenched in sweat. He was in the air. The tip of his feet stepped on the empty air. It was as though he was stepping on the surface of a lake. It stirred up a circle of deep blue ripples. Then, He leaped into the air and escaped from the range of the storm sword technique. He landed far away and looked at the technique in shock. It actually forced the fourth clan elder of the Immortal Sword sect, Feng Jian, to retreat. What kind of strange sword technique was that? Su Yun, you're pretty good. But don't be so savage. How can my Su family not know your strength? With that said, a few experts rushed over and surrounded Su Yun. Roar! At the same time, a few bright male lions came out from Blossom Heart Valley. They leaped up and welcomed the experts from the Su family. Both sides were in a stalemate. Seeing that, Su Yongnian did not want to stay any longer. He looked around and soared into the sky. Using his loud voice, he shouted, "Everyone, don't be afraid. Don't panic. Currently, Blossom Heart Valley, Purple Star Academy, and the Mu family have all been bewitched by Su Yun. It's hard to differentiate between right and wrong. We cannot be lenient. Now, everyone, follow me and kill Su Yun. For the righteous path, save the experts from Blossom Heart Valley." His voice spread out. Hearing that, Su Yun hated Su Yongnian to the core. With just a few words, he had completely categorized him as a demon. He did not even have the chance to defend himself. With Su Yongnian's command, the Su family and the Immortal Sword sect did not hold back anymore. They all rushed towards Su Yun. At the same time, Relentless Heart Pavilion, Smoky Wind Valley, Three Items Deity Palace, and Color Rock sect all made their moves and headed straight for Su Yun. In order to protect Su Yun and repay his kindness, the Purple Star Academy and the Mu family did not want to be outdone. They rushed forward. But no matter how strong they were still outnumbered. At this moment, the outside of Blossom Heart Valley became a battlefield for all the sects to kill each other. In a moment, blood flowed like a river, and the flames of war rose everywhere. Under the temptation of benefits, the sects who were friends in the past had completely shed all pretense of cordiality. Su Yun retreated as he watched the scene unfold. Suddenly, everyone was shocked. These people, what's the difference between them and demons? Chapter 190. 18 Wind and Cloud Swords. Feng Jian shouted. His agile figure started to spin. A sword danced up and down. His entire body was filled with sword images. Like a tornado, it blew toward Su Yun. Hua hua hua. The sword intent was dense and fast without a shadow. Su Yun retreated. Holding the Thousand Deep Sword and the Death Sword in his hands, he danced in the air. The flying swords around him immediately moved and surrounded him. Then, he started to attack. Clanging sounds could be heard continuously. A large amount of sparks and swift wind spirit chi dispersed from Feng Jian's body. If it was said that Xiangli was known for his brute force, then Feng Jian was known for his speed and techniques. Every sword of his was as fast as a whirlwind, and every move was exquisite beyond compare. This was a true martial artist with profound cultivation. If he were to fight with Feng Jian, he could completely rely on his exquisite movement techniques and speed to exhaust Su Yun. Once the power of the heavenly crystal dissipated, he could directly attack and kill Su Yun. Su Yun would definitely not be able to defend. But the situation was different. Feng Jian did not have time to delay. He had to get rid of Su Yun in the shortest time possible. There were countless people around who wanted to take Su Yun's life. Actually, from the start till now, many people were suspicious. Why was it that only Gue Mo Ju appeared from Blossom Heart Valley? Why were the clan elders nowhere to be seen? Forget it. Feng Jian's eyes congealed. Suddenly, his body exploded with a large amount of blue light. Following that, a lustrous figure appeared. In a blink of an eye, he landed beside Su Yun and slashed towards his neck. Doppelganger? Su Yun was shocked. He anxiously used his sword to block. Clang! The doppelganger was extremely strong. Although it could not be compared to the original, it was still terrifying. Su Yun used his arm strength to knock the doppelganger's sword away. Then, he grabbed the Thousand Deep Sword and activated the 3 parts of the sword. He slashed 3 times. Clang! 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 Every sword's power could split a river. It was extremely powerful, but after 3 slashes, it only forced Feng Jian to retreat. Su Yun, eat my move. Just then, a shout came from the side. Wang Xianming rushed over with his chi surging. Su Yun's face changed. He quickly retreated and dodged the attack. Although he had activated the heavenly crystal, he had used the sprite's shadow to kill Xiangli. His strength had already been depleted by more than half. Against the wind sword, it could only be said that he was barely able to withstand it. If he were to use it against Wang Xianming, it would obviously be difficult to contend against him. The experts of Purple Star and Mu family were besieged by the experts of various sects, and were unable to deal with him. The disciples of Blossom Heart Valley were also fighting. Guamo Ju was not strong, and could only watch anxiously from the back. Su Yin retreated a few steps. No one came to help. Blossom Heart Valley was ultimately outnumbered. Everyone was being attacked from the front and back. It was extremely strenuous. If this continued, they would not be able to hold on for long. "Kid, what are you doing? Hurry up and run for your life." As though she was shocked by the intense turbulence outside, Ling Qingyu's voice suddenly came out from the sword sheath. "If I wanted to escape, I would have escaped long ago, but Qing Air is still in the valley. If I leave, she will definitely be in trouble. But you can't handle so many experts. If this goes on, you will be killed by them." Ling Qingyu said anxiously. "Every minute counts. So many people are fighting for me. How can I abandon them?" Su Yin clenched his teeth and brandished his sword to defend against Wang Xianming. "You're really an idiot." Ling Qingyu scolded angrily and did not say anything else. Wang Xianming was proficient in controlling profound spirit qi. He used the rare frigid aqua spirit qi. He used his own strength to disrupt the opponent's profound spirit qi, making it hard for mystical techniques to be released. He could even lower the power of the mystical techniques, making it less lethal. With Wang Xianming's help, Feng Jian became much more relaxed. He called back his doppelganger and used it to attack the flying swords, while he himself rushed forward to kill Su Yun. Although he had the support of the heavenly crystal and his cultivation was extremely dense, but in terms of fighting techniques, Su Yun could not be compared to Feng Jian. Feng Jian's sword techniques were strange and crafty. His sword was sharp and swift. Although Su Yun held on to both swords, he could not keep up with his rhythm. In just a few moves, Su Yun had suffered 3 attacks and was at a disadvantage. The blood that flowed out dyed his blade master robes red. He was not afraid. His expression was cold as he stared at Feng Jian and Wang Xianming. His hands that were holding onto both swords tightened. "Su Yun, your consciousness and determination are very good. Under the activation of the heavenly crystal, your cultivation has been replenished. But there are some things that treasures cannot give you. That is techniques. You are just a person who is stepping on the shoulders of a giant. You are different from me. I am the true giant." Feng Jian bellowed. His figure moved again, and he rushed forward. "Giant?" Su Yun was startled. But very quickly, his mouth revealed a smile. Not willing, not willing, not willing, not happy. Was he mocking him? "I know my skills are not as good as others, but you cannot deny my hard work. You cannot ignore my sword techniques." He continued to tiptoe and retreated. His expression did not change much, but his eyes were filled with endless anger. He did not learn many sword techniques, but he had learned them before, and there was only one person who taught him. That was the sword elder. Feng Jian snorted in disdain. With a step, he attacked. He was so fast that he was invisible. It was hard to even pinpoint his exact position. He was like the wind. He could not be seen, nor could he be caught. "In front of me, you think you have the qualifications to mention sword techniques? Have a taste of my consummate technique." Feng Jian bellowed. His sword suddenly rose. In that moment, it was as though there were millions of swords piercing towards Su Yun. The sword images that covered the sky and covered the earth seemed to have filled everyone's vision. Other than the sword images, nothing else could be seen. Su Yun clenched his teeth and stared at the sword image. His expression was resolute. He did not dodge or evade. It was as though he had made a decision. He suddenly raised the death sword and fiercely slashed towards the sword image. On the other hand, the Thousand Deep sword had already loosened. He directed the remaining flying swords to give up on defending against Su Yun. All of them rushed towards Feng Jian. At this moment, Su Yun gave up on defending. He would not rest until he was dead. He actually wanted to fight with Feng Jian with his life. Feng Jian was shocked. How would he dare to exchange lives with him? He immediately retreated and blocked the incoming swords. He thought that it was not difficult to kill Su Yun. Why would he exchange lives with Su Yun? But Su Yun seemed to have predicted that Feng Jian would not exchange lives with him. He went straight over. The death sword rippled. Coordinating with the 1,000 deep sword and the 100 swords, he started to attack Feng Jian. Seeing that, Wang Xianming activated his qi. A large amount of frigid aqua spirit qi blew out. He opened his mouth and blew. Whoosh! Cold as a blade, frigid qi leaked out from his mouth. Whistling sounds could be heard. The frigid qi seeped into the qi and struck Su Yun's body. It quickly congealed into a layer of frost. He wanted to freeze Su Yun. Luckily, Su Yun had the heavenly crystal as his foundation. The profound spirit qi around his body was vast. Although Wang Xianming was an expert, it was difficult for him to freeze or disturb the profound spirit qi. Su Yun's body only formed a thin layer of frost. His movements became slower, but it could not stop his determination to kill Feng Jian. The 100 swords flew around randomly. There were no techniques to speak of. Su Yun also gave up on all the sword techniques that he had learned in the past. He just slashed randomly. He did not care about anything else. He did not care about defense. He did not care about techniques. It was as though he was a bandit slaughtering people. When it came to sword techniques, all the common techniques were useless against Feng Jian. The only thing he could rely on was one technique. That was the stormy wind sword technique that forced Feng Jian to retreat. Su Yun stared at Feng Jian. The death sword slashed randomly. The 100 swords attacked him, but it was difficult for them to touch his body. In terms of speed, the wind sword was unique. If the 100 swords did not rely on their numbers to make up for their lack of speed, a single sword would not even be able to touch the wind sword. You've already given up? Feng Jian stared at the flaws that Su Yun revealed. A look of disdain flashed past his eyes. Suddenly, he made his move. His sword slashed horizontally. It was an ordinary sword. There was no gorgeous qi whirlpool. There was no astonishing qi. There was only a bone-chilling, cold sword trajectory. A sure kill sword. He was confident that his sword would hit. So, at the moment when Feng Jian made his move, Su Yun also moved. He let go of the death sword in his hand. He actually turned around. With his back facing Feng Jian, he pressed his broad back against Feng Jian's sword tip. Puchi! The long sword entered his body. In a flash, it pierced through. Feng Jian was startled. He did not know what Su Yun was trying to do. But at the moment, he could not care too much. He immediately activated the sword tip and poured in a large amount of swift wind spirit qi. He wanted to release the spirit qi through the sword blade and tear Su Yun into pieces. Then, the monarch occult force and the heavenly crystal's dense, profound spirit qi was like a dam. It suppressed the sword blade that was piercing into Su Yun's body. Then a transparent white spirit qi spewed out from Su Yun's body. Like many vines, the spirit qi wrapped around Feng Jian and pierced through every weak point on his body. It was as though everything was planned. Every vital point was pierced accurately. Shit! Feng Jian felt that something was wrong. He was shocked. He anxiously tried to pull his sword out. Then, he exerted strength to pull his sword out. But he was shocked to realize that he could not pull the sword out. Looking again, Su Yun was actually holding onto the sword tip with his bare hands. He did not let Feng Jian leave. He held onto it tightly. Even if his palm was bleeding, he did not care. Just as Feng Jian slowed down, the stormy wind sword technique was released. Feng Jian roared. He released his grip and retreated. He dodged the crazy and strange sword technique. But he was still too slow. The sharp sword had already flown over. In a blink of an eye, it had pierced through the skin on his body. A large number of blood holes appeared. He immediately lost his fighting strength and fell to the ground. Because his movements were fast, he managed to avoid being hit in his vitals. He did not die yet. Clan Elder Feng Jian. The people from the Immortal Sword sect cried out in pain. Su Yun's face was pale. He pulled out the sharp sword from his back. Then, he walked towards Feng Jian, who was lying on the ground. His eyes were filled with killing intent. His face was extremely sinister. No one expected Su Yun to be so terrifying. He did not hesitate to use himself as bait to restrain Feng Jian. Then, he unleashed such a terrifying killing technique to kill Feng Jian. Feng Jian did not lose unjustly. Although Su Yun's techniques could not compare to him, he was a million times more ferocious. What technique is this? Feng Jian tried his best to stand up. His mouth was filled with blood as he asked weakly. Stormy wind sword technique. Su Yun said indifferently. Stormy wind sword technique? So fast. Feng Jian revealed a pale smile. To be able to witness such a fast sword technique, I have no more regrets. If there's a chance, I really want to learn it. I hope you'll have the chance in your next life, Su Yun said indifferently. He raised his sword and released his killing intent. Dong! Just at this time, Su Yun's feet suddenly exploded with a large number of ice flowers. Following that, two gigantic ice hands shot out from the ice flowers and directly slapped toward Su Yun. Su Yun quickly recalled his sword. Clang dang. The ice hand shattered. Su Yun retreated a few steps. It was Wang Xianming. He raised his hand again. The frigid aqua spirit chi rippled in his hand. Following that, a large amount of water vapor shot toward Su Yun like bullets. Su Yun wanted to dodge, but the area was too big. He could only gather all his swords in front of him and form a sword wall to block. Clang, 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 clang. The water vapor fiercely smashed over. The sword wall trembled. It seemed like it could not hold on for long. Su Yun clenched his teeth. He wanted to use a bit of profound spirit chi to control his flying swords to harass Wang Xianming. His current condition was extremely bad. His body was full of sword wounds. He had used up half of his profound spirit chi. If he continued to fight with Wang Xianming, it would be hard for him to win. You so-called righteous sects, how dare you behave atrociously in my Blossom Heart Valley? Do you really think my Blossom Heart Valley is easy to bully? Where's the poison doctor? Suddenly, an angry roar sounded. Disciple is here. Expel them. Yes, master. With that, a large amount of green poison mist blew out from Blossom Heart Valley. A large number of nimble figures flew out from the poison mist and rushed over. They were agile and their bodies were strong. Their entire bodies were covered in green light. It was extremely mysterious. They raised their hands and waved them as they ran. Their fingers moved randomly. Their palms flashed with a cold light. Upon closer inspection, it was a large number of silver needles. These silver needles were all pierced into the bodies of Blossom Heart Valley, Purple Star Academy, and the Mu family. Coincidentally, they pierced into their acupuncture points. Everyone was baffled. Those who were not pierced by the needles suddenly felt dizzy. They wailed in pain. Their faces were distorted, as if they were suffering from extreme pain. Poison Doctor? Guamo Ju was stunned. Chapter 191. Poison Doctor? Su Yun frowned. Seeing two silver needles piercing towards him, he did not dodge, allowing the needles to pierce into him, piercing into his Shanzhong and Tianfeng acupuncture points. Bursts of coolness spread from the acupuncture points, spreading throughout his body. Looking at Wang Xianming, his mystical technique was sluggish, his chi was weak, his face was ugly. As though he was affected by the poison gas, he had to stop his mystical technique, swallowed a pill, and started to retreat. The mist dispersed. This is poison gas. Everyone hold your breath. Use your profound spirit chi to isolate it. It's useless. This seems to be a specially made poison gas. There is no way to isolate it. It can permeate profound spirit chi. Directly enter the body. What? How is this possible? Isn't Blossom Heart Valley always benevolent and righteous? Since when did they learn to use such vicious methods? Retreat. Quickly retreat. Voices of fear rang out. Those who could not control the poison gas all turned and ran. All of their faces were filled with despair. Their steps staggered. A majority of them forgot to use their mystical techniques to escape. Many of them directly fell into the poison gas. The scene became even more chaotic. This poison? Su Yun was startled. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes and thought for a while, and very quickly he understood. The bitter heart poison gas could easily break through profound spirit chi, penetrate through the skin, and affect the 8 meridians and chi channels. The poisoned person would lose his strength after a few breaths, faint, and unable to use his profound spirit chi, completely losing his fighting ability. The most terrifying thing was the bitter heart poison gas could affect anyone below the spirit star realm, which meant that even a spirit soul disciple could not avoid it. Maybe a spirit soul disciple could suppress the poison gas, but if they stayed in the poison gas for too long, they would not be able to escape the fate of fainting. This was one of the unique techniques of Blossom Heart Valley. Suyun had long heard of the Poison Immortal Valley, but in his previous life, he never had the chance to see it. Never did he expect to see it this time. Suyun looked at the figures shuttling through the poison gas, his eyes blazing. Who would have thought? In the eyes of others, they were just a group of weak doctors. If they could save people, they could kill. In his previous life, Suyun muddle-headedly left the Su family. His cultivation was low. He did not have much money. He rode a spirit stallion to travel north and south, looking for experts, hoping to find an expert who could unravel the reason behind his lack of talent. But a small spirit novice disciple, who would care? Who would want to see it? After a few trials and tribulations, he had suffered a lot of cold eyes and suffered a lot of bitterness. With his last glimmer of hope, Suyun came to Blossom Heart Valley. At that time, he was penniless and destitute. However, as soon as he entered the valley, he was received by the disciples of the valley. They gave him food and clothes and even treated his injuries. They didn't ask for a single cent or a single cent. They were kind and merciful. From then on, Suyun finally saw a glimmer of hope in the darkness. He took the initiative to stay in Blossom Heart Valley to do odd jobs. He was willing to start from the lowest level. During the period of working, he could always hear or see all kinds of medical knowledge. He was pleasantly surprised to find out that medical knowledge did not have a high cultivation requirement. Suyun placed his hopes on Blossom Heart Valley's medical knowledge. He had long thought of joining Blossom Heart Valley. The disciples of the Blossom Heart Valley were all kind. Suyun heard a lot and saw a lot. He asked a lot of questions. The disciples were patient and always taught him knowledge. In their eyes, Blossom Heart Valley was their family. Why would they be impatient with their own family? A year later, Blossom Heart Valley recruited new disciples. Suyun signed up to participate. Blossom Heart Valley's recruitment was the grandest event in the entire Julian district. Because Blossom Heart Valley had very low requirements for applicants, it was not like other sections. They either required an astronomical amount of registration fees, or they were the sons of wealthy merchants or the sons of the city lords. In order to enter Blossom Heart Valley, one only needed to complete the assessment. In the past, the number of applicants had exceeded 1 million. But Blossom Heart Valley only recruited 3,000 people. Wasn't it just like a magnificent army crossing a single plank bridge? But what was worth rejoicing was that Suyun's cultivation talent was extremely poor. But he had some experience with paper and ink. In addition, he had immersed himself in Blossom Heart Valley for a year, so he was able to enter the valley safely. But his heart was not here. Blossom Heart Valley could only give him medical knowledge, but could not give him strength. He had made a decision in his heart. Once his talent recovered, he would pursue strength and take revenge for Qing Air. Blossom Heart Valley treated him with great kindness. Suyun felt guilty. He did not hide anything and told them the truth. Unexpectedly, the people of Blossom Heart Valley were very open-minded. All the elders and grandmasters did not care. Everyone in Blossom Heart Valley was free. They could go anywhere they wanted. The reason they taught their disciples was not to develop Blossom Heart Valley, but to nurture more and better spirit doctors, so that they could spread throughout the sky martial continent, save the dying, and heal the injured. Towards this, Suyun prostrated himself in admiration. He engraved the kindness in his heart. After entering the valley, he spent days and nights researching on medicine and medicine. He studied with great concentration. His craziness almost overshadowed Pill King. After his medical skills were accomplished, Suyun helplessly realized that even with the medical skills of Blossom Heart Valley, he was unable to solve his own problems. Helpless, Suyun could only leave. But with his superb medical skills, he would be able to visit the experts in the future. At least, he would not be rejected at the door. Suyun removed the group of swords and retreated a few steps. The poison mist had dispersed all the sections. Even the God Treasure King had returned to his own rainbow dragon boat. Blossom Heart Valley Purple Star Academy and the Move family were finally able to take a breather. Are you guys all right? An old yet sullen voice came out. Su Yun and the rest turned to look, only to see Pil King and the other elders of Blossom Heart Valley were already there. Senior brother, great clan elder, Guamo Ju and the rest anxiously ran over. We are fine. It is all thanks to Senior Pil King's timely appearance. If not, we would not have been able to hold on for long. Mu Feng heaved a sigh of relief and walked over with Madame Purple Star. Then, when Pil King looked over, he automatically ignored Mu Feng. His old eyes landed on Madame Purple Star. Madame Purple Star? You actually came? Pil King was slightly surprised. Don't misunderstand. I am not here for Blossom Heart Valley. I am here for Master Sword Lord. Madame Purple Star remembers favors. Master Sword Lord saved my Purple Star Academy. He is my benefactor. Today's matter is purely to repay a debt of gratitude. Madame Purple Star held onto her walking stick and said, I understand. Pil King nodded and did not say anything else. Seeing that, Su Yun muttered in his heart. Seems like there is a story between Madame Purple Star Principal and Pil King. Rascal. Just then, Pil King turned his head and spoke to Su Yun. The demonic poison has been cleared. Miss Qing Air is waiting for you at the back of the mountain. Hurry and find her. Leave this to us. Has Qing Air's poison been healed? Su Yun was elated. Pil King nodded. Su Yun hurriedly cupped his fists towards Pil King. Taking a deep breath, he said seriously, Senior's great kindness, I will definitely repay it. Today's matter was caused by Su Yun. I will bring Qing Air and leave Blossom Heart Valley. Leave the valley? Pil King was stunned. Rascal, are you looking for death? There are a bunch of hungry wolves outside. If you leave Blossom Heart Valley, I'm afraid that not long after, you'll be dismembered by them. Su Yun shook his head bitterly. Senior, I've already troubled all the senior brothers and sisters in the valley too much. Many of them were injured because of me. Some even died. I cannot continue. They framed me as a demon. In truth, it is only because of the heavenly Crystal Monarch occult force. If I continue to stay in Blossom Heart Valley will not be peaceful. Only after I leave will Blossom Heart Valley regain its peace. So I should leave. Rascal, Senior, please delay for a moment. I will bring Qing Air and leave from the back of the mountain. After an instant's worth of time, you can let them in. Tell them that I have already left Blossom Heart Valley. After they search for me, they will give up. This matter can be settled. But there are so many experts. There are so many sections. Can you really escape? Pil King asked. Up to fate. Su Yun did not want to waste any more time persuading him. He turned and headed towards the back of the mountain. But just at this time, a gigantic meteor-like light beam suddenly flew over from the horizon. The light beam was completely demonic green. It was extremely strange. It shot over and directly landed in the sky above Blossom Heart Valley. Then, it exploded like fireworks. Whoosh! The exploding light beams instantly formed a huge circular light array, continuously rotating in the air. A large amount of thick demonic chi spread out from the air. That large array seemed to be some kind of strange spatial door. Countless pieces of flesh and bones seeped out from the surface of the array. There were pieces of human corpses and beast corpses, but most of them were terrifying blood. They fell from the sky and smashed onto the ground that was cleared by the poison mist. It dyed the ground red. What's going on? Regardless of whether it was the people of Blossom Heart Valley or the sects that were forced to retreat by the poison mist, they were all shocked by the demonic scene. Was this part of our plan? Su Yin quickly walked towards the Immortal Sword sect and placed Feng Jian on the carriage. He asked the heavily injured Feng Jian, but Feng Jian did not answer him. Great Clan Elder, what do we do now? Su Yun is still there. Qing Air is definitely hiding in Blossom Heart Valley. If we do not attack Blossom Heart Valley, then this operation will fail. We will not be able to answer to the Patriarch. One of the higher-ups of the Su family said softly. Su Yin's face darkened. He looked at everyone. Seeing that the various sects had not retreated, he said softly, Let's wait and see. These people have not left. They are not giving up. We still have a chance. Immediately send people to guard all the exits of Blossom Heart Valley. I'm worried that Su Yun has plans to escape. Yes, sir. The higher-ups nodded. He immediately led the experts of the Sioux family and left. After that, everyone's attention was focused on the strange array and the sinister and terrifying blood rain. Spirit Demon Chi. It's Spirit Demon Chi. Suddenly, the god Treasure King on the Rainbow Dragon boat shouted, Spirit Demon Chi? Don't tell me this is a spirit demon array? Pill King was stunned. He saw that the spirit demon array in the sky had stopped raining blood. The corpses seemed to have all fallen. The ground was already covered with corpses and blood. They were like a piece of art. They were all piled up in a mess. A large amount of blood flowed along the corpses. Madame Purple Star looked at the corpses and blood. Suddenly, she thought of something. Her face turned pale white. She turned pale with fright. Quickly destroy these things. This is also a spirit demon array. The two spirit demon arrays are connected. A calamity is about to happen. Quickly destroy this spirit demon array. She used all her strength to shout out. Not only was it for the people here to hear, it was also for the greedy sex to hear. Pill King and the rest of the Blossom Heart Valley people were the first to react. They immediately rushed over with the Moo family. However, they were still a step too late. The array in the sky suddenly released a beam of red light that shone on the corpse on the ground. A pillar of light shot into the sky, and in the next instant, a large number of monsters suddenly appeared in the pillar of light. It was a teleportation array. Suyun's eyes widened. He held onto his sword tightly as he looked at everything in the light pillar. Sprite's shadow, heavenly crystal, monarch occult force, everlasting stone. These are all treasures. They need to be controlled by this princess. Ants, this princess orders you to quickly hand them over. In the light pillar, a dignified female voice sounded out. Following that, a large number of beast-headed monsters rushed out and pounced on the head. Chapter 192. Who are you people? Seeing the large number of weird figures rushing out from the light pillar, Gue Ju anxiously asked. But the other party did not stop to answer him. After rushing over, they immediately pulled out their green blades and rushed towards the people of Blossom Heart Valley. A group of demons, weird, to actually dare to cause trouble in Blossom Heart Valley. Today, none of you will be able to leave. Pill King's old face hardened. He immediately made his move. His palms released a large amount of silver light that flew towards the lady who called herself princess. You old fool who overestimates yourself. The lady looked at Pill King indifferently. She raised her fair arms, and her slender fingers released circles of green light screens. These light screens automatically flew out and hit the silver needles that Pill King was thrusting. Dang, the silver needles were all blocked. Pill King's eyes congealed, but he did not stop there. He released his palms again. 2 streams of poison chi were released from his palms. His aura was like a dragon as he spiraled forward. But the lady's mouth revealed a disdainful smile. Poison? In this world, is there anything stronger than demon poison? We live in demon poison all year round. Why would we be afraid of the poison refined by you ants? The lady withstood the Pill King's poison chi. She took a few steps forward. Her powerful strength and inhuman methods caused everyone to be flabbergasted. Damn it! Our Blossom Heart Valley's only strength is poison. If we can't even do anything to them, I'm afraid it will be hard for us to fight them. Roar! A large number of soul stones rushed forward and bit the demons. But although the soul stones were strong, there were not many of them. Before they could even bite a demon to death, they were torn into pieces. We need support. Blossom Heart Valley's second clan elder, Chen Muyun, looked at the bitter battle of the Blossom Heart Valley disciples and shouted, Disperse the poison mist. Let the sects over their help. They won't. Once the poison mist is dispersed, they will only look for Su Yun. Their goal is Su Yun. As for protecting the peace of the righteous sects, that is just an excuse. Need their help? That is impossible. The Medicine King said helplessly, his old eyes still staring at the woman who was walking towards him step by step. Since it's like this, let's retreat. We will retreat back into the valley first. Madame Purple Star rushed over and stood in front of Yao Wang with her old and stooped body. Yao Wang looked at her with a complicated expression, his face revealing a trace of astonishment. Purple Star, what are you doing? You guys hurry up and retreat. I'll deal with this woman. Since she's a spirit demon, your poison will most likely have no effect on her. It'll be much easier for me to defeat her. No. The Pill King gritted his teeth, his expression determined. How can I let a woman fight for me? This won't do. Quickly retreat to the valley. I'll handle this. You stubborn old man, haven't you changed after so many years? Let's go. You should be the one to leave. The two of them quarreled, but the woman on the other end was getting impatient. I think it's better if the two of you attack together. As soon as she finished speaking, the exquisite figure in the green robe instantly rushed over. The woman waved her hands and shot out two slender auras. The auras turned into blades and sliced towards the two people. Madame Purple Star and Medicine King's faces darkened. They clenched their teeth and attacked together. Seeing that, Su Yun, who was at the back, frowned. It's this woman again. Since she wanted the heavenly crystal and the sprite's shadow, then she was coming for him. If he stayed here, Pill King and the rest would be in danger. He could not hesitate and had to leave quickly. Su Yun thought about it. He hardened his heart and rushed into the valley. Not good. Su Yun is escaping. Su Yongnian, who was watching from the other side of the fog, was shocked. He anxiously shouted, "The fog has thinned. Don't hesitate. Rush in and kill Su Yun. Take back all the things that belong to the Su family." Yes, the experts of the Su family all moved out. Don't just stand there. A portion of you, send Elder Feng back to the sect. The rest, follow me. We'll kill Su Yun and take revenge for Elder Shenhong. The clan elder of the Immortal Sword sect also spoke. We can't let Su Yun go. These demons must be Su Yun's accomplices. Everyone attack. Su Yun's departure had completely agitated the people here. They were initially planning to watch the fire burn and watch the sudden appearance of the spirit demons and Blossom Heart Valley people fight to the death, but Su Yun wanted to leave, which made them unable to sit still. God Treasure King and exuding Fire Sect clan Elder Yonggu were the same. Seeing Su Yun rushing into the valley, they immediately led their experts to chase. We must capture Su Yun. We cannot let them escape. Su Yongnian's face was gloomy. His heart was cold. He turned to look at the Su family's troops. He saw an unfamiliar man dressed in blue. This man was added in a few days ago. Although he did not say a word and did not participate in the battle, Su Yongnian knew that everything he and Su Lixiong did was to answer to the power behind this man. But there were too many variables. There were too many people who were after the treasures. Su Yongnian could only try his best. The lady who was fighting with Pill King and Madame Purple Star sensed that Su Yun was trying to escape and immediately bellowed out. No one knew what she was saying, but four gigantic existences the size of small mountains immediately rushed out from all directions. These four existences had two heads with horns on their heads. Their limbs were thick and strong. They were dressed in human skin dresses. Their bodies were dark green. Their gazes were ferocious. In their hands, they held a gigantic axe. They smashed through the crowd and rushed towards Su Yun. Although they were 3 to 4 meters tall, their speed was extremely fast. Very quickly, they closed in on Su Yun. So, 4 gigantic axes filled with dense spirit demon chi slashed over. Su Yun anxiously dodged to the side. The axe smashed onto the ground, but the spirit demon chi exploded and directly struck his body. In a moment, he flew out and fell a few meters away. Su Yun's face changed. Shit, the power of the heavenly crystal is starting to dissipate. Furthermore, these 4 terrifying existences were most likely at the spirit soul disciple realm. Who exactly is this lady? Why is she able to control so many spirit soul disciple experts? Su Yun clenched his teeth and brandished the death sword towards the 4 gigantic existences. He then turned and ran towards the back mountain of Blossom Heart Valley. Nearing the back mountain, he saw a person rushing over. Su Yun looked over. A beautiful figure with an elegant figure dressed in plain clothes. Her face was devoid of makeup, but she was extremely beautiful. Wasn't that Su Qing'er? Young master. Seeing Su Yun running over with blood all over, Su Qing'er was startled. Her eyes were filled with tears. She anxiously ran over and cried out, "Are you all right? How did this happen? Why are you injured?" "Young master, I'm fine." "Qing'er, don't worry. Let's go. Let's quickly leave Blossom Heart Valley." "Let's go now." Su Yun said anxiously. Go. Just then, the four spirit demon giants with astonishing chi were already nearing. Such powerful chi. Are they the ones who injured young master? Su Qing's face tensed up. Her eyes were filled with anger. Her heart was filled with hatred. However, the opponent's chi was astonishing. Their cultivation was not low. If they were to fight, she would not have much chance of winning. But just as she was thinking about what to do, her small hands were suddenly held by a warm big hand. Then, she was pulled away. Don't hesitate. Su Yun grabbed Qing Er's hands and shouted, Go. Quickly go. We can only be safe if we leave. Hearing Su Yun's words, Qing Er could only nod her head and run. You can't run. White-boned demon thorn. One of the giants picked up the big axe in his hand and slashed towards the ground. Dong! The axe blade fell to the ground. The ground split open. A burst of spirit demon chi seeped into the ground. The ground in front of Su Yun started to wriggle. Then, a few white bone thorns rose up and trapped the two of them. Su Yun's face congealed. He pulled out the death sword and slashed. The sword light swept across. Crack! The white bone thorns were all broken. But because of the bone thorns, the four spirit soul disciple experts had already caught up. Demon blood prison. A giant's two heads roared at the same time. The deep and resounding voice resonated out. Once again, a faint green barrier appeared around them. Like a prison, Su Yun and Qing Er were completely trapped. Then, a few giants rushed forward. I will tear you into pieces. I will dig out your spirit and turn you into my food. The two heads of the spirit demon giant swayed. Two of them were snatching Su Yun, and the other two were snatching Qing Er. Su Yun's eyes flashed with an ominous glint. He stared at the big hands that were extending towards him. Suddenly, he took a step forward and rushed forward. Swinging his sword, the remaining flying sword left the sword sheath and rushed towards the giants. So the sword blades flew everywhere. Sword intent surged. Over 10 swords formed an encirclement and slashed forward. The giants were caught off guard. In the blink of an eye, their hands were chopped off. Demonic green blood spurted out. Die! Su Yun's mind was surging with anger. Looking at the filthy existences, his killing intent exploded. He hugged Qing Er's slender waist with one hand. Both of his legs stepped back, and like a leaf, he jumped backwards, and while in the air, he raised one hand. The death sword's tip pointed at the four first-stage spirit soul realm spirit demon cultivators, and quickly muttered something. Qing Er, who was still in a state of shock and could not regain her senses, heard a few words. Cleaving the heavens, beheading the dragon. Rumble. A clap of thunder sounded out in the sky. Following that, the entire blue sky darkened. A large amount of black clouds gathered. As they gathered, they formed a vortex that kept on spinning. Faintly, something seemed to be leaking out from the center of the vortex and rushing towards them. Gradually, they could see it clearly. It was a gigantic divine sword that looked like a dragon. It looked like a sharp sword used by a god. It was extremely long and thick. It was extremely majestic. Coming out of the black clouds, it directly rushed towards them. The sword pressure was like a huge mountain crashing down. Ah! The four spirit demon Dao experts all screamed out in pain. Their bodies were too huge, and it was difficult for them to escape. The pressure caused them to be unable to move, and they could only watch as the gigantic sword fell. Bang, the dragon sword fell, causing the ground to shake violently. Cracks started to appear everywhere. The entire Blossom Heart Valley seemed to be thrown into a raging storm because of the dragon sword. The few giants could not withstand it. The two closest to them were instantly smashed into pieces. The remaining two reacted in time and dodged. But they were still struck by the aftershock and were flung out. They landed on the ground, and their skin cracked open. Demon blood flowed out crazily. Shenhong was the great clan elder of the Immortal Sword sect. She was already at the peak of the spirit soul realm. Even she could not withstand this technique. How could the four first-stage spirit soul realm cultivators control it? Clang! Su Yun held on to the death sword as he stood on the ground. He almost fell. His face was pale white. All the chi in his body was exhausted. Young master! Rascal! At the same time, two sweet-sounding and anxious voices rang out from inside and outside. They were Qing Er and Ling Qingyu. Qing Er anxiously supported Su Yun, who was on the verge of falling. Tears continuously flowed down her face. Her heart was in pain. I'm fine. Let's go. Suyin gasped for breath as he spoke. You can't leave. A cold voice came out. A gust of demonic wind blew over. It was that woman again. Suyun's eyes widened. His scarlet-red eyes were filled with unquenchable anger. Demon girl, don't think of leaving. Pill King's voice came out from behind. Madame Purple Star and Pill King chased after him. They attacked the demonic wind. Chapter 193. Pill King and Madame Purple Star's faces were pale white. Suyun knew, with just the two of them, they were not the lady's opponent. His energy was exhausted, and it was difficult to rely on the sprite's shadow to kill her. If the two treasures were at their peak, they could definitely fight, but not now. Qing-er. Suyun turned around and shouted weakly to Qing-er, who was beside him. Young master, Qing-er is here. Qing-er wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes and anxiously replied. The exquisite heart stone that was stolen from the Su family, is it still with you? He held onto his sword, panting as he asked. Qing nodded her head and anxiously took out the treasure from her storage ring and presented it to Suyun. Looking at the beautiful, exquisite heart stone, Suyun's eyes finally revealed a look of relief. Qing-er, do you know why before I left the Su family, I planned to steal this treasure? Because only with it can you be safe and sound. Once the exquisite heart stone is activated, it can immediately send the user away from the current area, and the distance is extremely far. With it, we can easily escape from the pursuit of the Profound Sky sect and the Su family. It will become your life-saving treasure. Activating it is very simple. One person holds the stone and casts a spell, imbue chi into it, then place the stone on the other person's chest, and when the stone is activated, the other person will be sent away. Suyun took the exquisite heart stone and smiled. Now, I will imbue chi into the northern part of the stone and activate it. Let it bring you to the northern continent. There are no eyes of the Profound Sky sect, no Su family. There, you can live safely. Hearing that, Qing-er was completely stunned. Her face was pale white, her lips trembling. Her eyes looked at Suyun absent-mindedly. Her tears had not dried yet. Young master, then what about you? Me? Suyun was startled for a while, then laughed. I don't care. You being alive is better than anything. You are my everything. It was a simple sentence, but it was like a knife, completely cutting into Qing-er's heart. She was crazy, drunk, stupid, muddled. It was a suffocating feeling that made her heart stop beating. It was a complicated feeling that she had never felt before. She couldn't say it, but she realized that her life seemed to be changing as if it didn't belong to her anymore. She bit her lips and gripped the exquisite heart stone tightly. How can this be? She lowered her head and whispered. What's wrong? Suyun asked with a light smile. But in the next second, the maid spread her arms and hugged him tightly from behind. She used all her strength to hug him tightly. Even though her slender arms could not wrap around Suyun's wide waist, she still persisted in hugging him tightly, afraid that the man would leave in the next second. She leaned her head against the man's back, her tears falling like pearls from a broken necklace. But instead of crying, she was smiling. Qing will not leave, young master. Qing will not leave. Qing-er is young master's everything. Don't tell me that young master is not Qing-er's everything. Young master is willing to die for Qing-er, and Qing-er is also willing to die for young master. Young master, Qing-er. Qing-er likes you. Do you know that? I've always liked you very much, very much, very much. Laughing and laughing, she started to cry again. Maybe it was only at this moment that she dared to confess, because she was afraid that she would never have the chance again. This time, it was Suyun's turn to be stunned. He was afraid that he had heard wrongly, so he anxiously turned his head and looked at the girl behind him, only to see her lowering her head, her pale white face revealing a tinge of red. The pear blossom with tears was truly pitiful. Young master, I know, you always thought that I treated you well, because I was repaying a debt of gratitude. Actually, it's not. Qing-er really likes young master. So. When the girl said till here, she could not speak anymore. Pill King and Madame Purple Star blocked the demon girl, and the three of them started to fight. Suyin took a deep breath. He felt that today's events were much more shocking than anything he had experienced in his previous life. But for some reason, his heart surged with joy. Was it because of Qing Er's feelings? He held Qing Er's hand even tighter. I understand now. Suyin fiercely exhaled and turned to look at Qing Er, his eyes filled with happiness. He looked at the girl, looked at her delicate little face for a moment, and finally pulled her into his embrace, hugging her tightly. Qing Er, thank you. Actually, I like you very much too, but I am no longer the Suyin from before. Not the Suyin from before? Qing Er's eyes opened slightly and looked at her young master in a daze. Suyun's face hung a faint smile and said, Qing Er, let's talk about the future in the future. What we need to do now is to resolve these dangers. Qing Er will not leave young master. Not waiting for Suyun to finish, the girl interrupted him. She smiled gently, her charming face filled with determination. Suyun was startled for a moment and quickly laughed. I understand. Since it's like this, then forget it. These people came to attack Blossom Heart Valley today. In the end, they're all here for me, for my treasures. Since you are not willing to leave, then why not? Let me go after I leave. These people will lose their target. Maybe it can be exchanged for a sliver of safety here. Hearing that, Qing Er immediately nodded her head like a chick pecking on rice, her small face finally revealing a trace of smile. Come. Suyin handed the exquisite heartstone to Qing Er, took a deep breath, and said, Do you know how to activate it? I said it just now. One person instills a technique to activate it, and then stick it on the other person's chest, sending the other person away. Then, now, activate it, stick it on my chest. Send me away. Qing Er did not hesitate, and anxiously channeled her profound spirit chi into the stone. Voila! The exquisite heart stone was activated, and in a moment, a lustrous multicolored light appeared, and a dense and powerful profound spirit chi was released. Qing Er anxiously placed the exquisite heart stone on Suyun's chest, both of her hands trembling slightly. She wanted to be careful, but she was extremely nervous. She raised her small face, looked at Suyun, as though she wanted to remember Suyun's face, but what entered her eyes was a weak, smiling face. He extended his big hand, held on to Qing Er's small hand, pressed it on his chest, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath, then bent down and gently kissed Qing Er's pink lips. Qing Er was dumbfounded. She quietly looked at the big face. Just then, she heard a weird sentence. If I am still alive, are you willing to wait for me? He asked gently. Alive? Qing Er's eyes widened. Suddenly, she thought of something and anxiously looked at her small hand, only to see the exquisite heartstone erupting with a large amount of strange chi. This chi was like a shield. In a moment, it enveloped her delicate body. This chi, you lied to me, young master, you lied to me? Qing Er immediately understood. She was on the verge of collapsing. She anxiously threw the exquisite heartstone away, but the stone seemed to be one with her. She could not throw it away. She could not struggle free, and it became more and more intense. The light aura became stronger and stronger. No! Qing Er screamed her lungs out. She pounced over, hugging Suyun tightly, tears streaming down her face, her shoulders twitching. Why did you lie to me? Why did you lie to me? Young master, why did you lie to Qing Er? Don't leave me, I beg you. Don't be so heartless. The girl was heartbroken. She screamed frantically. She suddenly thought of something and anxiously activated her profound spirit chi, wanting to disrupt her own profound spirit chi and stop the exquisite heartstone's activation. But she painfully realized young master was continuously using her hands to transfer profound spirit chi into her body, preventing her from stopping the treasure. So, everything young master had planned, he already knew that I would not leave. He already understood. If I am alive, wait for me, he said softly, as though it was his last words. Qing Er raised her head, looking at the smile on his pale white face, her fists clenched tightly. Young master, no matter what happens, I will find you. Don't think of throwing me off. The girl cried and shouted with determination. Unbearable pain. hysterical. She was so ruthless. Why was she so stupid to not be able to see through such a method? She seemed to have more to say, but at that moment, the exquisite heartstone was completely activated. Specks of light aura rippled out from the heartstone, covering her entire body, and her delicate body transformed into gold light and started to dissipate into the sky, gradually disappearing. "Wait for me," someone's voice gradually came out from the sky. Su-Yun raised his head, looking at the place where the gold light disappeared. His face was unprecedentedly relaxed. At that moment, Qing Air finally broke free from the Su family's control and finally broke free from the threat of the Profound Sky sect. She had obtained true freedom, and I have obtained true freedom. He released the hand on his chest and turned to look, only to see Pil King and Madame Purple Star still fighting. The two of them could not hold on any longer. Pil King's face was extremely ugly. There were traces of blood on his body. It was obvious that he was injured. Although his medical knowledge was considered to be at the peak, but his fighting methods were still lacking, and Madame Purple Star was much stronger than him. "Old bones, you can't hold on anymore?" The lady sneered and suddenly waved her hand, causing light vines to emerge from the ground around Pil King, coiling towards him. "Oh!" Pil King's face turned white. He anxiously retreated, but the light vines were extremely fast. Adding that his weapon was only a silver needle, it was difficult to break the technique. He was caught off guard and was coiled around by the vines. "I'll send you to heaven." The lady snorted and waved her hand again. Whoosh! A ray of green chi waves struck towards Pil King. "Be careful." Madame Purple Star panicked and rushed forward. Bang! The chi wave was dispersed by Madame Purple Star's staff, but Madame Purple Star's entire body trembled. It was obvious that she was at a disadvantage. What kind of strength does this lady have? How could she be so strong? Could she already be a spirit star realm cultivator? Kacha, 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 kacha. Just then, Pil King broke free from the vines. Seeing Madame Purple Star with blood at the corner of her mouth and her expression of pain, Pil King's old face was filled with anger. He stared at the lady, his dusky yellow eyes filled with rage. He took out a pill from his storage ring and stuffed it into his mouth. In that moment, Pil King's chi suddenly changed. It was originally spirit life chi that could penetrate into one's heart, but after the pill entered his stomach, it instantly transformed into the terrifying Scarlet Star chi. Attribute change. Using medicine to change the attribute of profound spirit chi, transforming the unsuitable spirit life chi into Scarlet Star chi. Seeing Pil King's actions, it was obvious that he wanted to fight to the death with this spirit demon woman. Just then, the spirit demon woman suddenly opened her mouth and spat out circles of poison mist towards Pil King. The mist floated, and in a moment, it covered Pil King's body. "Ah!" Pil King screamed. Before he could complete the transformation, he suddenly fell to the ground. His entire body's skin split open. "Senior Pil King." Su-Yun's heart trembled. Seeing Pil King in such a state, the hatred in his heart exploded, and his eyes became even redder. He held onto the death sword. Taking advantage of the fact that the heavenly crystal's power had not dissipated, he took a deep breath, and with thousands of killing intent, he rushed forward. Chapter 194. So, the death sword flew over, although it did not contain much pure divine spirit chi, but in Su-Yun's anger, it contained an endless amount of killing intent. It was extremely imposing. The spirit woman sensed the incoming sword, turned her head and looked over. Seeing that Su-Yun still dared to make a move against her, she shook her head. "Are people so stupid? You want to make a move against me? All right then, I'll send you to the Western Paradise." In a moment, the spirit woman changed her target. With one hand forming a claw, she directly attacked Su-Yun. Her goal was the treasure on Su-Yun. She did not care about his life. If he died, it would be easier to retrieve the treasure. But when the spirit woman attacked, Su-Yun was not afraid at all. He gathered the last bit of strength in the heavenly crystal and fiercely attacked. He would not rest until he was dead. Qing Air was already safe. He had nothing to worry about. What was there to be afraid of? So many people had died for him. What was there to be afraid of? Even Senior Pil King was heavily injured. Was he still going to retreat? With this determination, the death sword overflowed with an astonishing ominous aura. The sword tip trembled as it pierced towards the spirit woman. Dong! The spirit woman's white palm directly blocked the sword tip. A thick and valiant power exploded from the seemingly soft and boneless hand. Su-yin seemed to have used all of his strength, clashing with her. But when the sword went down, something unexpected happened. The spirit woman seemed to have received an extremely strong attack. She was forced to retreat a few steps. Her chi was in a mess, and her face changed. She was obviously at a disadvantage. What? Su-yin was startled. Although the heavenly crystal's power was still there, to say that it could force the spirit woman to retreat, that was an impossible matter. What was going on? Just as Su-yin was surprised, he suddenly felt a warm sensation on his back. He anxiously turned his head to look, only to see a young and charming girl dressed in a red blade master skirt, using her small hands to press against his back, her eyes slightly closed, her rosy lips slightly opened, as though she was doing something. The girl's appearance was not very old, probably around 11 or 12 years old. Although she looked very petite, her figure was exquisite and well-proportioned. She had a pair of furry fox ears that swayed gently, and a large white tail that swayed behind her fragrant buttocks incessantly. At this moment, her entire body was glowing with a bright red light. The thick and fierce, profound spirit chi flowed through her delicate hands and into Su-yun's body. So that strike was actually the result of her help. Hu Qianmei. Su-yun was startled. Hu Qianmei slowly opened her eyes. Her small face was filled with a cold intent. She put down her hands and walked in front of Su-yun. Her eyes were like knives as she stared at the spirit demon Dao woman. This aura. The demonic woman was stunned. Her eyes narrowed and her expression became serious. Su-yun was also stunned. He could clearly feel that the chi on Hu Qianmei's body was much stronger than before. This woman's cultivation had improved quite a bit again. It seemed that sharing his inherent skill had allowed her to gain a lot of benefits. At the very least, she was able to use the everlasting stone. Hu Qianmei pulled out the demon blade from her waist and shouted at the woman. What kind of dog are you? You dare to touch my people? Only I can kill this person. Get lost. Oh. The spirit demon Dao woman looked at Hu Qianmei from head to toe and squinted her eyes. Half human, half demon. I see that you have the blood of the demon race, and your strength is not bad. Why not join my spirit demon Dao and worship me as your master? I will give you glory, splendor, wealth, and longevity. How about it? Seems like you did not hear what I said. Hu Qianmei revealed her teeth and laughed. If you do not get lost, don't blame me for being impolite. Then please be impolite to me. The spirit demon Dao woman said indifferently, as though she did not take Hu Qianmei seriously. Very good. Hu Qianmei gripped the demon blade tightly, as though she was about to attack. But before she left, she did not forget to turn her head. Leave quickly. Leave. This person is here for you. If you do not leave, you'll be killed by them sooner or later. You and I share the same talent. If you die, I will also be crippled. So leave quickly and do not implicate me. So Hu Qianmei made a move because of the connection between the two of them. After she found out that Su-yun was hiding in Blossom Heart Valley, she rushed over from Mingying's school. After all, if Su-yun died, she would not be any better. Thinking about that, Su-yun did not feel too grateful. Since Hu Qianmei made a move, it was for her own sake. The only thing he needed to do now was to escape. Madam Purple Star, quickly bring Senior Pill King away. Su-yun shouted to Madam Purple Star, who was still supporting the Pill King. With that said, he immediately turned and ran back. Seeing that Su-yun was about to leave, the spirit demon Dao woman's eyes turned cold. She immediately went past Hu Qianmei, intending to go straight for Su-yun. Don't even think of hurting him. Hu Qianmei's delicate voice shouted out. The demon blade exploded and a strange power shot out from the blade tip towards the spirit demon Dao woman. The spirit demon Dao woman moved her fingers and a few green shields appeared, blocking Hu Qianmei's unceasing attacks. She seemed to know that Hu Qianmei was not easy to deal with. She only defended and did not kill, and chased after Su-yun. The heavenly crystal was about to disappear. He had to get rid of this woman before the heavenly crystal disappeared. Otherwise, his power would fade and he would be exhausted, making it difficult for him to escape. Su-yun brandished the death sword. He jumped onto the death sword and flew. The remaining power of the heavenly crystal was used on the death sword. He was like a black shooting star, flying far away. You will not escape so easily. The spirit demon Dao woman's face darkened. She took out a green hairpin from somewhere. She turned and spun over, throwing the hairpin towards Hu Qianmei. Chiao! The hairpin suddenly became bigger, becoming more than 10 meters long. The sharp hairpin had pierced straight towards Hu Qianmei, who was chasing behind. Hu Qianmei anxiously held onto the demon blade and slashed at the hairpin. Clang! The hairpin was cut into pieces. The violent power caused the air to tremble. Hu Qianmei's strength was truly shocking. However, this was not the end. After the hairpin was cut into pieces, it split into 2 pieces. The 2 pieces of hairpin suddenly squirmed, quickly transforming into 2 hairpins in the air, and once again pierced towards Hu Qianmei. When had Hu Qianmei ever seen such a strange weapon? She anxiously swung the demon blade again. The blade images that filled the sky were like a flood that pounced forward, completely shattering the hairpin. However, the hairpin still did not retreat. After turning into pieces, all the pieces once again transformed into a thumb-sized hairpin and attacked Hu Qianmei. The hairpins that filled the sky were like raindrops. 1 split into 2, 2 split into 4, 4 split into 8. It was endless and endless. Damn it! Hu Qianmei scolded angrily. She grabbed onto the demon blade and slashed wildly. Her body was filled with blade images, crushing all the hairpins into pieces. Finally, the hairpin could not withstand Hu Qianmei's chaotic blade and completely disappeared. Just that at this moment, the spirit demon Dao woman had also gotten rid of her and attacked Su Yun. It was unknown what mystical technique the spirit demon Dao woman used. Her body once again transformed into a ball of demonic mist and quickly approached Su Yun. Even if Su Yun unleashed his maximum speed, he was still unable to get rid of her. If this continued, she would catch up to him sooner or later. Su Yun turned his head to look at the incoming demonic mist. His mind spun quickly. Suddenly, he thought of something and anxiously shouted, "Although I have the heavenly crystal, sprite shadow, and monarch occult force, I still have other stronger treasures. If you kill me, you will only get these 3 treasures. You will definitely not be able to get the other treasures. So you can't kill me." With the spirit demon Dao woman's methods, if she got close to Su Yun, she would definitely be able to kill him. So what he needed to do now was to stall for time and fight for any chance of survival. Su Yun's strength was not high, but he continuously obtained treasures. Heavenly crystal, sprite's shadow, everlasting stone, monarch occult force. These were all treasures that could make all righteous and evil people go crazy. If he said that he had even stronger and better treasures, how could anyone not believe him? You have other treasures? What treasure is it? The spirit demon Dao woman's stern voice came out from the demonic mist. 9 emperor seals. Seeing that the demonic mist was getting closer, Su Yun anxiously said. The spirit demon Dao woman seemed to have heard of this treasure before. She was startled for a moment, then said happily, 9 emperor seals. I never thought that you would actually have the 9 emperor seals. Good, very good. Then, quickly hand over the 9 emperor seals, and I can spare your life. Spare my life? If I take out all these treasures, I will definitely die. Hee. In truth, the 9 emperor seals is not on me. If you want it, you cannot hurt me. Don't even think about it. The demonic mist suddenly increased its speed and rushed towards Su Yun, enveloping him. Su Yun, seeing that, Hu Qianmei, who was far away, turned pale with fright and anxiously chased after him. But after the demonic mist enveloped Su Yun, it swept him away and flew far away. Inside the demonic mist, Su Yun felt his entire body was sore and powerless. The pure divine spirit qi in his body seemed to be frozen. No matter what he did, he could not activate it. Not only that, even the spirit essences in his body were sealed by a thin layer of mist. At that moment, he did not even have the strength to truss a chicken. The spirit demon woman carried him and sprinted quickly in the sky, flying towards a barren mountain in the distance. He needed to leave quickly, if not his life would be in danger. Su Yun's eyes darted around, thinking of a way. What a dense spirit demon qi. Su Yun, quickly run. Quickly leave her. Just then, Ling Qingyu's voice slowly entered Su Yun's ears from the sword sheath. Su Yun was slightly annoyed. If I can leave, why wouldn't I? Ling Qingyu did not say anything. Just then, the demonic mist around him dispersed, and Su Yun was thrown onto the ground. He anxiously used his sword to support himself, stabilizing his body. Then, he raised his head to look at the demonic mist, only to see the demonic mist quickly gathering together, and very quickly, it formed into a graceful and beautiful woman. Su Yun's heart tensed up. He looked around, only to see that he was in a barren mountain. But this barren mountain was not normal. The ground around him was covered with terrifying corpses. Some of them were humans, some of them were beasts, and a gigantic demonic gate was not far from him, with two dual-headed demons standing guard in front of the gate. What is this place? Su Yun asked the spirit demon woman weakly. You don't have to care about that. The spirit demon woman turned her head, her eyes glistening as she stared at Su Yun, and said, Now, give me the heavenly crystal, sprite shadow, monarch occult force, everlasting stone, and the 9 emperor seals. Quick! Chapter 195. Su Yun secretly thought for a moment, then raised his head. If I hand over these things, you're really willing to let me go? The spirit demon woman's expression was indifferent. Your cheap life is useless to me. I only want those treasures. If you want to live, hurry up and hand them over. You say that you don't want my cheap life, but how would I know what you're thinking in your heart? At that time, I forcefully snatched the sprite shadow that was supposed to belong to you. So I'm afraid that you already hate me, to the core? So, I won't believe your words. Su Yun supported his sword and laughed weakly. Hate? The spirit demon woman suddenly laughed out loud, her face filled with disdain and contempt. Human, you're too full of yourself. Who are you to be worthy of this princess's hatred? Don't overestimate yourself. Is that so? I'll ask you one last time and give you one last chance. Hand over those treasures, and I can spare your life. If you don't hand them over, I'll kill you on the spot. I can give you the other treasures, but the 9 emperor seals are not with me. Even if I wanted to, I can't give them to you. Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. Hearing that, the spirit demon woman's expression tensed up. The 9 emperor seals are the emperor seals refined by the ancient 9 emperors. Although after the passage of time, the seal's power has faded by more than half, but its power is still endless. If I can obtain the seal, I can definitely sweep through the world, sweep through the 8 wastelands, and be invincible. Let me ask you, where did you hide the 9 emperor seals? Have you heard of the profound sky sect? Su Yun laughed. Profound sky sect? The spirit demon woman muttered, then asked, Where did you hide the 9 emperor seals in the profound sky sect? I remember that when we were retrieving the sprite shadow from the barren mountain of the exuding volcano, you guys said that you had already arranged for people to enter the Su family to investigate Limitless whereabouts, right? Then your people should know that the Su family and the profound sky sect are closely linked, right? That's right. I once represented the Su family to visit the profound sky sect and secretly place the 9 emperor seals that I obtained by chance in the profound sky sect's forbidden grounds. The emperor chi of the 9 emperor seals is too heavy. I am unable to control the treasure, and even more so, I am unable to suppress the chi. Bringing it along with me will attract the attention of many experts, and my life will be in danger. So I quietly hid the 9 emperor seals in the forbidden grounds of the profound sky sect. The profound sky sect's forbidden grounds chi is very strong and can easily cover the 9 emperor seals' chi, so no one will find it. So if you want to obtain the 9 emperor seals, you have to go to the profound sky sect. Of course, without me leading the way, the forbidden grounds are so big, you guys will not be able to find it. Su Yun lied with his eyes wide open. Profound sky sect. The demoness lowered her head and thought for a while. Something flashed in her green eyes. Whoosh! At this moment, the gigantic demonic gate in the distance was activated. A large amount of dense and peculiar aura leaked out from the demonic gate. This aura was the same as the aura emitted by the demon girl's array door in the barren mountain where the sprite's shadow was buried. Could it be that this array door was linked to another array door? Whoosh! An existence with the head of a bull walked out from the demonic gate. It had a sturdy body and was covered in armor. After it appeared, A large number of people who looked like birds and beasts in armor followed behind. The group of people walked to the front of the demoness and knelt down. They lowered their heads and shouted, "My supreme master, the bull demon king, pays his respects to you. My master is eternal and undying." The other demonic beasts all shouted. Su Yun, who was standing at the side, pricked up his ears to listen, but he could not understand what they were saying. They were all using the spirit demon language, while Su Yun only understood the demonic language. "Qingyu." Su Yun thought for a while, then called out in his heart, "What's wrong?" Ling Qingyu asked, "Do you know what they are saying?" "The spirit demon language." Ling Qingyu was a sword cultivator. She was powerful and had traveled extensively. She had seen more things than Su Yun, so she understood a little. "Translate it for me." "They are paying their respects to that lady. It seems like she's a princess of some big powerhouse of the spirit demon Dao. That should be the case." "And?" "That lady is asking them why they came from the spirit demon realm. They said that someone sent them, but they did not say who that person was." "Just that." "Yes, the lady seems to be getting impatient. It seems like she wants to get rid of you first. Is there no way to retreat now?" Su Yun secretly clenched his fists, his mind quickly thinking. "Su Yun, there's a way to live now, but there is a possibility." When Ling Qingyu said that, she stopped talking, as though she was hesitating. Su Yun became anxious and immediately asked, "What method?" "Qingyu, quickly tell me." "Although I can live, but it's no different from death." "No different from death." "Yes, actually I just thought of this method. Look at the arrayed door over there. That is actually the arrayed door that connects the spirit demon realm to the sky martial continent. It should be set up by these people. This kind of array door is extremely complicated to set up, and with this lady's strength, she can only set up one. Looking at this array door, it will probably last for 3 days, but if we pass through it, we can enter the spirit demon realm." "You mean you want me to enter the spirit demon realm?" Su Yin laughed bitterly. "Then wouldn't I die even faster?" The spirit demon realm was her territory. "Of course not to enter the spirit demon realm." Ling Qingyu shook her head. "There is a process to enter the spirit demon realm. You can grasp this process and try to escape." "Process?" Before Ling Qingyu could finish, the spirit demon girl tilted her head. She ignored the demons and sneered at Su Yun. "First hand over the heavenly crystal, sprite shadow, everlasting stone, and monarch occult force to me. After that, bring me to find the 9 emperor seals. You must choose to believe me. If not, what awaits you is death." Seems like the lady was too lazy to discuss with Su Yun. Su Yun frowned, but did not say anything. Heavenly crystal, sprite shadow, everlasting stone, monarch occult force. All these treasures were famous treasures in the entire sky martial continent, and it was normal for people to covet them. But if he were to hand them over, then he would have nothing to rely on. Without the support of these treasures, he would be killed by the Su family and the profound sky sect. "What are you hesitating for? Are you still hesitating?" The lady walked over slowly, as though she did not want to wait any longer. If Su Yin did not say that he still had the 9 emperor seals, she would have long dismembered him and taken the treasures herself. "All right, I'll give it to you." Su Yin lowered his head and thought for a while, then raised his head and said, If this dragged on, what awaited Su Yun would be swords and blades. "That's a smart person." The lady nodded her head. Su Yun undid the clothes on his chest and took out a pendant that was hanging on his chest. Everlasting stone. It was a powerful item that could increase a person's talent. With the help of this item, a mediocre person could instantly become a genius. The lady's eyes lit up and anxiously walked over, wanting to snatch it. Then, just as she was about to walk over, Su Yun suddenly tightened his grip and held the everlasting stone in his hands. The lady was startled. She raised her eyes to look at it, only to see Su Yun staring at her coldly. The killing intent and determination deep in his pupils was without a doubt. In that moment, the limitless sword sheath suddenly blossomed, and 10 swords flew out uniformly, flying towards the lady. The lady was enraged. Her killing intent was revealed. She waved her hand, and a large jade green shield enveloped her. The 10 swords landed on her body, but they were unable to break the shield and were not damaged at all. "What a daring ant! You dare to offend the princess? Die! The spirit demons were instantly enraged. All of them stared with their green eyes and immediately raised their weapons and rushed towards Su Yun. The spirit demon chi leaked out, and the ground trembled from their steps. Su Yun did not hesitate and used all his strength to rush towards the gigantic array door. Ha 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 ha! You want to escape through the spirit demon gate? Then you just have to escape. Enter the spirit demon realm. That is also my territory. You can't escape. Seeing Su Yun's actions, the lady immediately laughed. But in the next second, the slender sword sheath on Su Yun's back suddenly burst out with a strange energy. Following that, a white light overflowed from inside and instantly enveloped Su Yun. A strange chi that was similar to the spirit demon gate leaked out. The lady smelled it. Her smile froze, and she was stunned. This is the void cleaving technique? No, impossible. This brat definitely doesn't know about this mysterious technique. But if it's not him, this void cleaving technique, where did it come from? The lady clenched her teeth and shouted, Quickly capture him for me. Quick! Yes, princess. All the demons from all directions rushed towards the spirit demon gate. But Su Yun's action was too fast. He was too daring. No one thought that he would be so daring to actually make a move on Su Yun in front of so many demons. It was truly unprepared. The two demons standing in front of the door moved, and with heavy steps, they moved towards Su Yun to block him. Giant rock spirit nucleus. Su Yun opened his eyes and instigated a bit of profound spirit chi to activate the treasure in his eyes. A gray light struck one of the demons, and the demon immediately turned into a statue. Dong! The other demon had already attacked. Su Yun anxiously dodged, but his lower abdomen was injured, blood flowed out, and he flew out. He rolled twice on the ground, seeing that the spirit demon gate was right in front of him, and the surrounding demons were shouting and the sound of mystical techniques breaking through the air. He did not dare hesitate and pounced towards the spirit demon gate. Kacha! Just as he neared the spirit demon gate immediately burst out with ear-piercing shrieks and laughter. Ha 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 ha! It was as though there were tens of thousands of spirit demons twisting around his ears. His vision turned green, and a strange phenomenon appeared. Su Yun felt as though his soul was being pulled by something, wanting to leave his body. His body became light and was moving at a high speed. What's going on? Su Yun asked, and felt his consciousness getting weaker and weaker. Su Yun, quick, activate the everlasting stone, guard your mind, and do as I say. Quickly escape. Just then, Ling Qing Yu's anxious voice came out. Hearing that, Su Yun's body twitched and anxiously moved, but just as he was about to raise his chi, he realized that his body was empty, and a wave of powerlessness surged up. Shit, the heavenly crystal's power was exhausted, and my chi channels are dried up. Su Yun's heart thumped. But in the next second, a pure and gentle chi surged out from the sword sheath. It was like a small stream, gently flowing into the dried-up chi channels and replenishing his dried-up body. Su Yun did not dare hesitate and anxiously activated the everlasting stone, and the fuzzy and drowsy consciousness immediately woke up. He immediately understood what was going on. Qing Yu. Ling Qing Yu's anxious and weak voice came out. I am only repaying the kindness of the Sword Ancestor. Since you're the inheritor of the Limitless Sword sect, how can I just stand by and watch? Quickly do it. I have already accumulated the chant for the secret technique, Void, Cleaving Void. And now that the chant is complete, it is contained in this power. You only need to use your sword, and you will definitely be able to escape, but you will also accidentally enter other realms. But it doesn't matter, no matter what kind of ferocious realm you enter. At least you will be able to survive temporarily, quickly. Su Yun, quickly do it, or else we will reach the spirit demon realm. Hearing that, Su Yun's heart sank. How could he dare to hesitate? Raising the death sword, he waved it in the air. Voila! The sword tip released a ray of white light, instantly tearing the void in front of him. Following that, a pitch black hole appeared. Once the hole appeared, he entered it and disappeared. The demonic laughter stopped abruptly. The endless night was about to arrive. Chapter 196. Su Yun. A pitch-red figure flew over from the horizon, like a rainbow piercing through this place. After he landed on the ground, he screamed. The lady who was preparing to return to the spirit demon realm turned and glanced at Hu Qianmei, who was walking over. Her footsteps slowed down. What did you do to Su Yun? Hu Qianmei's small hands held onto the demon blade tightly. She leaned closer and asked while clenching her teeth. Su Yun? So his name is Su Yun. The spirit demon Dao woman's pale face revealed a trace of coldness. Her gaze was like a sword as she said, I will dismember his body into 10,000 pieces and extract his soul. Seeing the lady's gloomy expression, Hu Qianmei, who was originally burning with anxiety, suddenly relaxed. She patted her full chest and heaved a sigh of relief. Seems like that bastard ran away. But he can't run far, the lady said indifferently. Hu Qianmei was startled. What do you mean? The lady's actions were elegant. Her hands were behind her back and her slender fingers were clasped together. An ant like him, other than using some treasures, what other abilities does he have? If he wants to escape from my hands, what else could he do here? What method? Hu Qianmei's eyes swept around, looking around, only to see that the barren mountain was extremely big, and he was at the highest point, flying in the air. He could see everything below. There was no place to hide. If he wanted to rely on his legs to escape, to Su Yun, it was simply a fantasy. Suddenly, Hu Qianmei's gaze landed on a gigantic array door not far away. The array door had already been opened. A large amount of green light leaked out. A round halo spiraled around the door, like a whirlpool. Hissing sounds leaked out from within. Inside the halo, one could see a large number of strange and dazzling sinister and terrifying faces. This qi, splitting the void? Is this a void door that leads to other realms? Hu Qianmei asked with a congealed face. We are spirit demon Dao people. Naturally, we have to rely on this to enter the sky martial continent. If it was like the demonic continent, I'm afraid your sky martial continent would have long ceased to exist. The lady said indifferently. He went to your spirit demon realm? If he really went, he would have died long ago. Hearing that, Hu Qianmei's face turned cold. She did not say a word. She sensed that something was wrong. This world was extremely huge. Other than the martial sky continent, there were other continents. It was said that in the south, there was another continent that was not weaker than the martial sky continent or the demonic devil continent. However, there weren't many records of that continent, and not many people cared about it. However, compared to this, people were more concerned about the other realms other than the sky martial continent. Because other than the sky martial continent, there were 9 other realms. They were the demon realm, ghost realm, beast realm, spirit realm, insect realm, blood realm, ancestral heart realm, small realm, and evil realm. Each of the 9 great mirage worlds was more mysterious than the last, each more terrifying than the last. Apart from the almighty beings who could control the void-splitting secret technique, normal people would not be able to enter. Thus, the sky martial continent had very little information about the 9 great mirage worlds. It was rumored that there were many tyrants in the 9 great mirage realms, especially in the small realms. It was rumored that many peerless experts who had disappeared from the sky martial continent had gone to the small realms in search of higher realms. As for the other realms, they were all slaughtering realms. The weak were prey to the strong, and the strong were respected. For those with weak cultivation, entering the other realms was equivalent to seeking death. That reckless Su Yun actually used my demon gate to escape. Originally, I thought he just wanted to escape into the demon realm to avoid me. But I was wrong. This person actually knew the void-splitting secret technique. In the process of entering the demon realm, he forcefully opened the door to another realm and escaped into another realm. He really doesn't know what's good for him. The spirit demon woman used materials and a secret technique to lock onto the coordinates of the sky martial continent. That was how she could directly enter the sky martial continent from the demon realm. But for Ling Qingyu to suddenly use the void-splitting secret technique without any preparation, it was extremely rushed and unprepared. It was unknown which realm she entered, but there was no doubt. It must be one of the 9 mirage worlds. Hu Qianmei's face was extremely pale. Her delicate body retreated a few steps, and her large foxtail drooped on the ground. Each of the 9 mirage worlds was more terrifying than the last. With Su-Yun's strength, entering the 9 mirage worlds was no different from death. Su-Yun must die. Although I am unhappy that I cannot obtain the treasures, it is not important. I will find his corpse. As for you, the lady's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. She said indifferently, although you have offended me time and time again, I will not bother about it. You have the blood of the demon clan, so you belong to the demon realm. I see that your strength is not bad. If you kneel down and submit to me, I will not kill you. Instead, I will give you everything you want. Is that so? Hu Qianmei's pale face suddenly relaxed. Her eyes squinted and her mouth curved into a crafty smile. She seemed to be interested. Then, can you help me destroy the Immortal Sword sect? Plop. A man fell from the sky and fiercely landed on the ground. After that, he did not move. After a long while, he opened his eyes. Am I dead? That was the first thought in Su-Yun's mind after he woke up. Then, the bone-chilling cold wind blew on his face, causing him to sober up. He anxiously sat up and looked around. It was dark and gloomy. Everywhere was filled with black rocks. There was nothing. Other than the cold wind, there was no other sound. Su-Yun took a deep breath. He took out the sword sheath and knocked on it. He asked, Qingyu, how are you? Are you okay? However, Ling Qingyu did not reply. Previously, she had helped Su-Yun to use the contracted victory sword. She had already used up half of her strength. Now that she had used her secret technique to cut through the void, how could she have any strength left? She had probably fallen into a deep slumber to recover her energy. Su-Yun tried his best to stand up and walk forward. This was probably not the Sky Martial Continent. Then, where was his place? How could he leave? Su-Yun's mind was in a mess. He felt extremely lost. Looking around, it was still desolate and quiet. Helpless, he could only choose to sit on a relatively clean black rock. He sat cross-legged and recovered his chi. Using the heavenly crystal and the sprite's shadow, the chi in his body was extremely weak. If not for the everlasting stone and monarch occult force giving his body some toughness, his heart would have been crushed by the turbulent, profound spirit chi. He would have died instantly. Just as he sat cross-legged, Su-Yun felt that something was wrong. In the Sky Martial Continent, cultivators could absorb the spirit chi in the air to soothe their own chi channels. They could nourish and stimulate their own spirit essences to produce profound spirit chi. But here, it felt weird. Here, the spirit chi was extremely thin. But there was a type of spirit chi that filled the entire space. What chi is this? Su-Yun did not understand. But as matters stood, he had no other choice. If he did not absorb the chi, if he did not recover his chi, if he did not recover his strength, how could he survive in this strange place? How could he return to the Sky Martial Continent? He made a decision. Without hesitation, he directly absorbed the chi. He planned to understand the characteristics of the chi. Then, he scattered the chi in his chi channels. But when the chi entered his chi channels, there was a change. But after the chi entered the meridian, it immediately turned pitch black, and wherever it passed through, the chi meridian turned pitch black, and at the same time, a change occurred in Su-Yun's heart. A ruthless, painful, and crazy feeling surged up. He broke out in cold sweat. He anxiously stopped what he was doing. He sealed his spirit essences to prevent the chi from entering his spirit essences. But when the spirit essences were sealed, the chi that was absorbed into his body became crazy and started to scatter everywhere. Dong, dong, dong. The chi was like a fist, bombarding all the chi channels and blood vessels in his body. It caused Su-Yun's blood to boil. He was in extreme pain. What the hell is this? His body twitched. He fell to the ground and clenched his teeth. No, I need to force this thing out. Such a strange chi. If I absorb too much, I'm afraid it would have broken out of my body. Su-Yun endured the pain and sat up. He activated the sparse amount of profound spirit chi in his body, wanting to expel it out. However, he was already exhausted. His profound spirit chi had not recovered much, so how could he force the weird chi out of his body? It was truly easy to invite a god in, but hard to send him away. Just when Su-Yun was at his wit's end, the monarch occult force in his heart suddenly activated. A warm flow gushed out and quickly spread to all the chi channels and spirit essences. Su Yun was startled. The warm flow that leaked out from the monarch occult force was like a big hand. It quickly wrapped around the turbulent pitch-black chi and pinched it into one point. Then, it fiercely smashed onto the walls of the chi channels. Following that, the warm flow started to fuse with the pitch-black chi. It started to twist and rub against it. The pain in his body disappeared without a trace. Instead, a cool and comfortable feeling surged into his heart. What's going on? Su Yun was startled. Spirit Essence's transformation. Just when he was confused, Ling Qingyu's voice came out again. Hearing that, Su Yun was startled. He immediately asked, "Qingyu, are you all right?" "I'm just exhausted." Ling Qingyu's voice was still weak. "I originally wanted to rest and recover, but I sense that you seem to be in some trouble, so I took a look. I never thought that you would have such luck." "Luck? What luck?" "The treasure embedded in your chest is called Monarch Occult Force, right? Tisk, it's truly an amazing thing. I wonder how this treasure was born." "Monarch Occult Force?" "I feel that it contains an extremely strong energy inside. This energy seems to be able to affect profound spirit chi. Now, it is releasing this energy to help you create a new spirit essence." "A new spirit essence? This is a spirit essence?" "Yes, it's an evil spirit essence." "Evil spirit essence? Evil spirit essence? Could this be the evil realm?" Su Yun was shocked. "That's right." Ling Qingyu sighed. "I never thought that after splitting open the void, the most troublesome evil realm would appear. I'm afraid it won't be easy to get out." "Can't you use your secret technique again to return to Sky Martial Continent?" "I can, but I need to wait for me to recover, and I need to find a large number of items to use it. If I don't use it, and just casually use it, we will only be running around in the 9 realms. No one knows where we will end up after splitting open the void." "Is that so?" Su Yun was quiet for a moment. Then he sat down cross-legged and looked at the chi channels in his body. He saw that the strange chi in the chi channels had completely disappeared. Even the Monarch Occult Force had calmed down. What replaced it was a date-sized pitch-black imprint. Black chi was being emitted from it. This black chi was demonic, cruel, ruthless, cold. It was completely different from the 5 elemental chi and pure divine spirit chi. This is evil chi? Evil chi is not its full name. It doesn't have a fixed name, but it is the source of chi that the strong martial artists of the evil realm rely on to survive, just like the spirit chi in Sky Martial Continent. It can only be absorbed by the evil realm people, but you have the Monarch Occult Force. You can also absorb it. Su Yun, do you know what that means? When she said the last sentence, Ling Qingyu's tone was extremely solemn. Chapter 197. Including the human realm, there are a total of 10 realms, and other than the special small worlds, the evil realm is the most peculiar. Evil chi is the only baleful chi that is comparable to demonic chi. Although it is ruthless and cold, the evil chi is slightly weaker, but the evil chi is more strange. It is unpredictable. It is unpredictable and ever-changing. Every strand of evil chi has its own consciousness. It is not human, but it is a spirit just like demonic chi. When it comes in contact with other attributed chi, its spirituality will explode. It will disregard everything and attack, only stopping when it dies. But the evil chi is different. It is more proficient in attacking the weak points. It is ever-changing and unscrupulous. Every attribute of profound spirit chi is different. Its characteristics are also different. There is no one profound spirit chi that is the strongest, and there is no one that is the weakest. It all depends on how the person uses it. Su Yun, do you know that you already possess the limitless sword sect's most unique pure divine spirit chi? And with the support of the Monarch Occult Force, you're already able to use 6 different attributes of profound spirit chi. And now, in the evil realm, with the help of the Monarch Occult Force, you can even create evil spirit essences, which also means, in the future, you can even use the evil spirit chi. 7 types of energy. Gathering them all in one body, I do not dare to imagine. Speaking till here, Ling Qingyu was already extremely emotional. Her words were filled with surprise. Even Su Yun could not imagine there was actually such a mystical thing. 7 different types of energy gathered in one body. How astonishing would the result be? How mystical was it? This situation is truly something that only a person with great luck can have. Su Yun, your luck is different from others. Strong luck is also a type of strength. Usually speaking, a person with two types of qi is already very rare. You are definitely one of a kind. But you must remember, training must be extremely hard. Do not slack off. Others work hard to train. You must work 7 times harder than them. That way, you will not let your 7 types of profound spirit qi go to waste. People say that learning too much, if you do not stick to it, it will become chaotic. You have 7 types of energy. The most important thing is not to let them become mediocre, but to let them become exquisite. Remember, Ling Qing, you said weakly. Hearing her weak voice, Su Yun's heart moved. He immediately nodded and said seriously, I will remember. Train well. The Limitless Sword sect hopes to see the light of day again in your hands. With that, Ling Qing Yu's voice gradually disappeared. Su Yun sat quietly on the spot for a while, looking at the bead embedded in his heart. He fiercely spat out a mouthful of impure qi and continued to absorb the strange qi in the air. Since he had already entered the evil realm, and since there was only this power left, then he would obtain it. Power was the most basic form of protection. Actually, what Ling Qingyu said was not entirely correct. Although he possessed 7 different types of profound spirit qi, she had overlooked one point. Su Yun still had the everlasting stone and Hu Qianmei's special physique. His current talent was already 7 times higher than an ordinary person. Cultivating would be twice the result with half the effort. However, he was not satisfied. Just relying on his talent was far from enough. To some people, they had an absolute factor to suppress Su Yun. That was time. Life forms that were born later in the world were unfair, because the life forms that were born earlier than them had already become the supreme gods. They monopolized all resources and controlled all the factors. Even the lives of these life forms were firmly held in their hands. Currently, Su Yun was no longer in a rush to overthrow the Profound Sky sect and the Su family. Qing had gone to the northern continent, and he believed that the Profound Sky sect and the Su family would not be able to find her easily. Qing was temporarily safe, but he still had to train hard and leave the evil realm alive. He sat cross-legged and carefully absorbed. He did not dare to absorb too much at one go, since he was still unfamiliar with the evil spirit qi. He needed to slowly grasp its laws, understand its movements, and after familiarizing himself with it, he would gradually increase the amount. When the qi entered his qi channels, it dyed the qi channels pitch black, and the qi channels became extremely cold. But very quickly, the pitch black evil spirit qi was released by the monarch occult force and combined with the mystical power inside the qi walls, transforming into evil spirit essences with eye patterns. During the process of transformation, Su Yun did not forget to check on the monarch occult force. Although he had obtained the monarch occult force, he did not know much about it. This thing that could allow a person's profound spirit qi to carry 5 mystical powers. How did it appear? Where did the people from the Congregate of Treasures sect obtain such a powerful treasure? Other than that, what about the everlasting stone? How did it appear? Su Yun only knew a little about the heavenly crystal and the sprite shadow. It was said that the 2 of them were parts of the divine weapons, and by themselves, they contained powerful might. With the qi being absorbed, Su Yun carefully activated it, coordinating with the monarch occult force to transform the evil spirit essences. When the evil spirit essences appeared, the first thing he had to do was to familiarize himself with them and understand their functions. Su Yun did not know why the monarch occult force could not transform spirit qi into spirit essences in Sky Martial Continent, but here it was obvious that it was more useful. The evil spirit essences that were attached to the qi walls were extremely weak. Compared to the other spirit essences around Su Yun, and even the earth spirit essences, they were extremely weak. They were like little black seeds, while the other spirit essences were like huge trees that could support the sky. Although the spirit essences had completed their transformation, they were still unable to produce evil spirit qi. The monarch occult force was like a hand that created a human. It gathered the evil spirit qi together to form a body, and then gave it a heart, transforming it out. So powerful. Su Yun, who looked into the evil spirit essences, could sense the profoundness within and immediately gasped in surprise. If the evil spirit essences were transformed to a certain amount, it could definitely produce an astonishing amount of evil spirit chi. Maybe in Sky Martial Continent, evil spirit chi was a taboo force, but he could not care so much. Rules were set by the strong, and only the strong could survive. Thus, Su Yun started to greedily transform the evil spirit essences. He wanted to plant seeds in his body, and when the seeds germinated and grew stronger, he could enrich himself. Of course, for these transformed spirit essences, before he was familiar with them, it was better not to use them recklessly, in case something unexpected happened. After 5 days of hard work, through the transformation of the Monarch occult force, not only did Su Yun obtain more than 60 evil spirit essences, his own chi channels and spirit essences were also replenished, and his chi had returned. His entire body started to leak out traces of evil chi. Of course, if one did not look carefully, one would not be able to sense it. Furthermore, the heavenly scale divine, I could completely block out the evil chi, so Su Yun did not have to worry. He opened his eyes on the big rock and looked around. Jumping off the big rock, he slung the sword sheath, pulled out the death sword and thousand deep sword, and carefully advanced forward. This place was desolate and barren. It was not a place to stay for long. Su Yun was currently only at the peak of the Spirit Intermediate Disciple realm, and had not reached the Spirit Star realm, where he could not even touch a single drop of water or grain of rice. He still needed to rely on food to fill his stomach. In the past, he could still refine some pills to fill his stomach, but here, he did not know what he could eat. Su Yun stepped forward. His mental state was at its peak. He looked around cautiously. Once there was any movement, he would retreat without any delay. The sky was dusky, the ground was extremely muddy, and it was filled with black water. It was as though after a heavy rain, there were strange rocks in the distance, but there were no signs of life. His ears could only hear the howls of evil spirits in the wind. Suddenly, there was the sound of a small stream flowing from afar. Su Yun was startled, but he quickly ran over, only to see a 2 m wide black river flowing in front of him. The river was pitch black, flowing at a fast speed, and there were many small water splashes in the river. Seeing that, Su Yun felt weird and went closer to the river to look. Of course, he was thinking if there was anything in the river that could fill his stomach. Although it was the evil realm, there should be something edible, right? If not, he would not be able to stay here. Just at that moment, a strange phenomenon happened. But the murky black river slowly became clear, gradually becoming clear and clean. Everything in the river could be seen clearly. Plump fresh fish, naive river turtles, and a large number of spirit snails. These were all delicacies for non-spirit cultivators, and to low-cultivation spirit cultivators, they were the best ingredients for delicacies. Su Yun was startled. Why would there be such things in the river? He stretched his head out to look, only to see his own reflection in the river. At that moment, his face was pale white, revealing a look of shock. Everything was fine. Why would the river be like this? Was the evil realm like this? Changing constantly? He did not understand, and had no idea what was going on. Just at that moment, Su Yun's reflection in the river suddenly opened his mouth, revealing a strange smile. Su Yun was shocked, but before he could react, he heard a whooshing sound, and 2 sinister hands extended out from the river, directly wrapping around his head. Both hands grabbed onto Su Yun's neck and frantically exerted strength, wanting to pull him down. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, food. Food! The evil being let out a mournful laugh. Unexpectedly, Su Yun could actually understand what it was saying. It did not seem to be a simple sound wave, but a mental message. But at that moment, he could not care so much. Su Yun anxiously raised his 1,000 deep sword and attacked the evil being. Whooshing, whooshing, whooshing. A strange phenomenon occurred. 1,000 deep sword exploded out from Su Yun's astonishing power, and when it flew towards the strange evil being, it was once again blocked by the pitch-black colored water. The force on top was completely dissipated, and when it landed on the evil being's body, it did not have much destructive power. What the hell is this? Su Yun clenched his teeth, his heart filled with anger. He instigated his profound spirit chi, grabbed onto the evil being's arms, and used his strength wanting to pull it out of the water. The evil being's cultivation level was not high, roughly at the third stage of the spirit core disciple. Although it launched a sneak attack on Su Yun's reaction was fast, and in this short period of time, he actually managed to pull the evil being out of the water. Such great strength. Ha ha ha. It will definitely be delicious to eat later, ha ha. The evil being was not the least bit flustered, and instead let out a mournful and savage laugh. Then, he heard the splashes of water coming out from the surrounding river, and a large number of pitch-black evil beings with 2 blue eyes came out of the water. They let out mournful shrieks and surrounded Su Yun. Shit! Su Yun knew something was wrong and let go of the evil being's hands and anxiously grabbed onto the death sword, intending to kill it. But just at this time, for some reason, the death sword unsheathed itself. With a kang-chang sound, the death sword flew out by itself, and with a strange arc, it slashed horizontally toward the evil beings. The sharp and desolate sword edge drew a pitch-black crescent, and in a moment, the evil beings were beheaded. Each of the evil beings all fell to the ground, and the evil being in front of Su Yun also died, and the pitch-black hand that was grabbing onto his neck also slowly softened. The air was still filled with the vibrating sound of the sword whistling. Cold, sharp, bone-chilling, ear-piercing. The unspeakable might of the sword was 100 times more tyrannical than usual. 1 slash to kill. Su Yun was shocked. Since when was the death sword so strong? He watched as the death sword circled in the air and directly pierced into the back of an evil being. Half of the sword blade pierced into the body, and a burst of evil force was released. On the sword blade, a large blood-red death word flashed continuously, glistening with light. That appearance was like a lion that was eating. Chapter 198. Gudong, Gudong, Gudong. A strange sound came out from the pitch-black sword body. The death sword's light aura flickered continuously. Like an oil lamp being blown by the wind, it was bright and dark. Very quickly, the bodies of the evil beings became thinner and thinner, like dried salted fish. The death sword's red light also became stronger and stronger. It automatically flew out and pierced into another evil being's body and continued to greedily absorb. Su Yun only felt that as it absorbed, the indescribable cold intent on its surface became stronger and stronger. The death sword was an extremely special sword. It was originally a sub-sword, but after defeating close to 100 swords, it became a primal sword, controlling 100 swords. It had a spirituality that the other swords could not compare to, but what was it doing now? Was it absorbing the evil chi from the evil beings? Why did the death sword need the evil chi? Could it be that it could strengthen itself? Su Yun's mind was filled with suspicions. He walked over and pulled out the death sword. Clang! The death sword did not dare disobey Su Yun. Since he was the master, it easily pulled it out from the evil being's body. A large amount of evil chi flowed out and floated into the sky. Looking at the death sword, the blood-red death word became even more demonic. The pitch-black sword body became even colder. A large amount of evil chi revolved around the sword body, difficult to disperse. Su Yun held onto the sword hilt, feeling that it was getting colder. He took a deep breath, looked at the death sword body, and suddenly swung his hand. Hwah! A pitch-black wave shot out from the death sword body, sticking close to the ground and rushing into the distance. Wherever the wave passed, regardless of whether it was wood or stone, it would all turn into fine powder. It was extremely terrifying. Seeing that, Su Yun sucked in a breath of cold air. I never thought that the death sword could actually absorb evil chi to increase its power. No wonder Qing Yu and the sword elder said that it was an extremely evil sword. Su Yun's eyes turned. After thinking for a moment, he walked over and pierced the death sword towards the other evil beings' bodies, allowing the death sword to absorb. Very quickly, the evil beings' bodies were like dried corpses. The evil chi inside were completely absorbed, and the death sword's surface was also covered with evil chi, like a regiment of black flames. Keeping the death sword back into the sword's sheath, Su Yun continued walking. After walking for about half a day, a black forest appeared in front of Su Yun's eyes. The forest was huge, almost covering the entire area in front of him. Seeing that there was nowhere else to go, he could only bite the bullet and enter the forest. The light in the forest was even dimmer. and he could often hear strange croaking sounds. It seemed to be the sound of a special kind of evil bird. After the battle, just now, and the long journey, Suyun's stomach was rumbling with hunger. He had to find something to replace food to fill his stomach. If not, he would not starve to death. If he met any evil beings again, he would not even have the strength to fight. After advancing for an unknown period of time, Suyun saw a large number of pitch-black chi threads. Suyun raised his head and looked at the chi threads that were swaying in the air like spirit snakes, only to see that their source was the fruits hanging on the treetops. These fruits were pitch black, but there was a terrifying human face on the surface. It was strange and hard to find, and when one approached the fruit, one could hear a hair-raising laughter. "What is this?" He looked around, only to realize that this place was different. Around the fruits, there were actually a few broken enchantments and array remains. Furthermore, there were blood-red runes on the tree trunks, which seemed to be the words that the evil realm people used. "Is there anyone living here?" Suyun thought. "You don't seem to be from the evil realm." Just as Suyun was feeling suspicious about his surroundings, a hoarse voice came out from behind him. Suyun's entire body was perspiring in cold sweat. When did the person appear behind him? He anxiously turned around, holding onto the death sword and thousand deep sword tightly. He looked towards the source of the voice, only to see a tanned, tall, and sturdy middle-aged man standing behind him. He was wearing a cape, and in his hand was a broken blade. Propped up on the ground, his entire body was leaking evil chi. Seeing that the man did not have any ill intentions, Suyun's anxious state of mind calmed down, but his vigilance did not drop. He stared at the man and asked, "Who are you?" "Who am I?" "Huh, then who are you? Why did you come to my territory?" "Territory?" Suyun did not understand. "You seem to be a human." The middle-aged man in the cape raised his head, carefully looking at Suyun, only to see a pair of pitch-black eyes under the cape. "Then, do you want to kill me?" Suyun raised both of his swords and said softly, "If you want to take my life, then make your move." He had already secretly activated the heavenly scale divine eye and realized that the opponent was merely a 10th-stage spirit novice disciple. It would be easy to kill him, but was the opponent's cultivation really that weak? That should not be possible. With such a low cultivation level, how could he appear in a place like this? Who knew that at this time? The man laughed out loud. "Human, I am merely a 10th-stage spirit novice disciple evil being. You are much stronger than me in terms of cultivation level. Do you think I can kill you?" "Ha ha ha." "Oh." Suyun's eyes congealed and did not speak anymore. He looked around and turned to leave. "Human, are you leaving?" "If I'm not leaving, what are you staying here for?" "Ha, although my strength is weak, but to be honest, in the evil realm, I'm still a lowly being. With your strength, if you continue to walk, your soul will be stolen, your body will be occupied, and you will become an evil being, and your consciousness will disappear forever." The middle-aged man in the cape pointed to the depths of the forest and laughed. "Do you know where this is? This is the most famous soulless forest in the evil realm." "Soulless forest?" "Yes, stealing the soul, without a soul or spirit." Speaking till here, the man paused and continued. "Of course, if you are looking for death, you can continue forward. Once you pass through the soulless forest, you will reach the shrine of evil spirits that everyone yearns for." Hee, don't tell me you are also greedy for the treasures in the shrine of evil spirits? You are really an ant trying to shake a tree, overestimating yourself. With your cultivation level, once you get close to the shrine of evil spirits, you will be devoured by the shrine of evil spirits. Shrine of evil spirits? What is that? Suyun did not understand what the man was talking about. He thought for a while, then said, "So the shrine of evil spirits is so scary. I give up. I'm not going, but I seem to be lost. I don't know the way back. I hope Senior can give me some pointers. How do I leave this place?" I have seen a few people who came to search for the shrine of evil spirits, but they were all buried in the evil realm. If you do not return to your human realm, you will only be treated as food by the evil beings here. Suyun was silent. "Haha, seems like you really don't know the way back. Then just wait for your death. But kid, don't be too desperate. If you want to leave, I can help you." "Help me?" Suyun frowned. "You are an evil being too, right? If you are an evil being, why would you help me for no reason? Your vigilance is not bad. I have a reason to help you. The middle-aged man laughed. Kid, if you are willing to help me, I can tell you the way to leave this place. Help you? What help? Su-yun asked. Although he did not trust the evil realm being who appeared out of nowhere, but as matters stood, he had to grab hold of any chance to return to Sky Marshall Continent. First, go and retrieve a treasure from the Shrine of Evil Spirits for me. As a reward, I will tell you the way to return to your human realm. What do you think? You just said that I can't get close to the Shrine of Evil Spirits. Naturally, with your current cultivation, you are indeed unable to get close to the shrine, but if you use my method, you'll have a high chance of retrieving the treasure. Although it will take a lot of time, but if you are willing, not only can you successfully leave the evil realm, your cultivation will also increase greatly, and your strength will soar. Hearing that, Su-yun's mind spun quickly. Without a doubt, what the man said was extremely dangerous. If he did as he said, he would most likely lose his life, but if he did not do as he said, how was he going to return to Sky Marshall Continent? Rely on the method that Ling Qingyu said? She also said that he needed to find the materials to set up the array door. Then he could use the Void Cleave secret technique to return. And to search for the materials, he would most likely have to wander the entire evil realm, which was even more dangerous. If he met a strong evil being, he would not even have the chance to escape. There was nowhere to go, and nowhere to go. So for the time being, he would listen to him. The man's cultivation was so weak, if it was too dangerous, he would just give up. He could not do anything to him. Su-yun thought, then nodded. All right, I'll help you retrieve the item. You help me leave the evil realm. You will not regret this decision of yours. The middle-aged man laughed sinisterly. Follow me, human. Follow me into the black evil cave mansion. I will tailor a set of suitable materials for you to refine. Refine? Yes. Only people with dense evil chi can enter that place. I want to bestow your profound spirit chi with strong evil chi. Then why don't you find an evil realm being to do this for you? Ha 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 ha. Evil realm being? No, no, no. There are many evil realm beings that come to the soulless forest, but I do not dare to interact with any of them. I only dare to interact with you people from the other realms, because compared to you, evil realm beings are the scariest. Then what about the Black Evil Cave Mansion? What is that place? Are there no evil realm beings? That is an almighty being's cave mansion. There are many evil realm beings there. In that almighty being's cave mansion, no evil realm being dares to mess around. So there's no need to worry. What we need to do now is to exchange for the things we want from the hands of those evil realm beings. After saying that, the middle-aged man plucked a pitch-black fruit with a human face on it from one of the strange trees. His sinister smile suddenly turned solemn. After plucking the fruit, he carefully placed it on the ground. Then, he knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the fruit 9 times in a serious and respectful manner. Then, he held the fruit with both hands, muttering evil words. It seemed to be some kind of ceremony. When it was over, he carefully placed the fruit into the bag on his back, holding onto the broken blade. He smiled at Su-yun. Come, Un. Su-yun nodded. The two of them left the place, heading towards a gigantic mountain peak in the south. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.